Ladies and gentlemen and in-betweeners, I'm your host, Alexander Rodriguez, here for On the Rocks radio show, where celebrities and cocktails mix tonight. We got actors, we got jokes, folks, we got filmmakers, with actor Jaylen Moore, co-star of History Channel 6, Comedy Store resident comedian Shawn Pelofsky, and a very British lesbian comedian. Can the British be funny? We're going to find out with Fiona Goodwin, and we have writer-director Billy Clift from A Long Road to Freedom, the Advocate 50th Anniversary documentary premiering this week at Outfest, and my guest co-host, my twin, model Stephen Dehler. So raise a glass and let the games begin. This has been On the Rocks with Alexander, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Universal Broadcasting Network. Find me on Facebook on the Rocks Radio Show.
Thank you for being
Boulevard.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
I'd like to propose a toast.
This is On the Rocks with Alexander, coming at you from Sunset Gower Studios in the heart of Hollywood, where I drink with your favorite celebrities and we talk about fashion, entertainment, pop culture, reality TV, and that's about it. So pop a cork, pour a glass, lean back, and enjoy On the Rocks every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Universal Broadcasting Network.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Oh, Lord help us. It's going to be a bumpy night on the Rocks, the place where we're too glam to give a damn. Twinsies. Like that? Twinsies. Yeah, I stole that from Facebook, I have to be honest. We have everything tonight. We got the gays, we got the straights. We got only the best mix for our listeners today. Thank you to our sober listeners for tuning in. We love you. Thank you so much for holding our hair back and driving us home. If drunk texting was a sport, I'd be an Olympian. Wah, wah. So I'm still working on my summer body. Summer 2029. Right?
I think you got a couple of months left, girl.
How dare you, sir? I am timeless. My body's in a different time zone. But I saw the funniest thing today is like Carbies don't make Barbies. Did you see that today on Facebook? I stole it.
It was great. I saw it 8 years ago.
Is that a real thing?
When you were in kindergarten, weightlifting in kindergarten. Okay, when Steven shows his Transformation Tuesday pics, he looks exactly the same, except he had shaved head and now he has like Rapunzel hair.
No,
He's like, Transformation Tuesday, I've come a long way.
You're so wrong.
Go back. Hello to our listeners around the nation on iHeartRadio, Universal Broadcasting Network, Player FM, Stitcher, TuneIn, Satchel, iTunes, Google Play, and on the Rockers, I'm happy to say we are now on Spotify. Of course, we are on Facebook Live on Hillcrest Social in San Diego, True FM in Ohio, hello Ohio, and nationally on Bear World Magazine. Rawr! Check out my weekly Bear World interviews, movie news, and movie reviews.
It's woof.
It's a bear. What bear goes woof, Sean?
The bears.
Are you that Jewish? You've never been to the forest?
I'm almost that gay of a man to know.
But she is right.
Well, it's because in the scruff world, bear, otter, and there's a salmon. Have you heard of the salmon?
No.
So the salmon, I'm going to enlighten everyone.
Wait,
Jaylen is like, what the hell are we even
bear,
talking about?
cub, otter, and now there's salmon.
But there's wolf, too.
There's also
wolf.
panda.
Wolf,
yeah, there's panda.
But wolf isn't... I thought wolf wasn't part of the bear.
Oh, yes, it's adjacent. It's bear adjacent. It's in the zoo.
Skinny bear.
But what's a salmon?
So the salmon is the hairless one that all the bears are trying to claw.
I
was coined on our show. It's a good thing. Yeah, she turned around. She's like,
I feel like salmons are stinky.
Anyway, this week catch my interview in Bear World Magazine with American Idol finalist David Hernandez. And my movie news, Hotel Transylvania debuted at #1. It's the second sequel, so it's Hotel Transylvania 3. If somebody would have asked me to invest $20 in this film, I would have said, no, I'm going to spend it on lottery tickets.
It's surprisingly good.
You saw it?
No, not the third one. I saw the first one.
Okay, but
I didn't know there was a first one.
Yeah, well, there's a first and a second.
It's
it's
surprisingly entertaining.
It's like the only movie Adam Sandler has made that's like hit the top 5 in the last
40 years.
It's
something that he can do, because Adam Sandler, everyone knows that the movies that he makes, they just go. It's just a vacation for him and all of his friends, and the excuse is that they go to do a movie. That's basically what Adam Sandler does.
Fun for us.
That's why.
Why do they give him money?
Yeah, I have no. He has this 15 movie deal, crazy number
with
deal
Netflix,
with Netflix,
right?
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Well, but it's
I was in one of them. Yeah,
good
that's
job.
stupid.
That's why he knows he went on vacation. Mr. Biceps over there. He's like, hey,
exactly what did Adam call you on vacation for? But it beat out Ant-Man, it beat out Jurassic Park, and it beat out
the Rock movie.
The Rock, the skyscraper coming
down.
They
said that failed.
Yes,
Really?
it's like the only failure Dwayne has had since Baywatch. right?
Wow.
Because everything's supposed to go anyway. But
Towering inferno.
Look at us focusing on failure.
yes. No, we're going to be positive today. But Hotel Transylvania 3. I mean, I hate children to begin with. No offense to your beautiful daughter, Jaylen, but keep your kid
dare
movies
you.
out of my
I'm out
theaters. Yes. For all of our audio listeners, you can check out our video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and of course the Hillcrest social app with all of our On the Rocks videos streaming for free. Mama Rose is in the chat room on ubnradio.com and Facebook. Ask your questions, and she will ask me, and we'll answer it here on the air. Please keep her busy because she's next to the vodka and she starts drunk tweeting, and I don't want my show canceled. Hello to our engineer, Kurt. Kurt, you've had a day. You don't even have a microphone. Kurt, your hair, your outfit, what is happening over there?
It's been a crazy day.
Yeah, I
Kirk's
can
straight.
tell. Yeah, Kirk is very straight. I always joke that he dresses like a lesbian on an oil rig. No offense, Fiona. I'm sure oil rigs are lovely this
That's
time.
twice. That's twice.
What does that mean?
Wow, Alex.
Okay, I'm going to wade in here.
No, come on, Fiona.
No,
bring it.
yeah, no, really. Am I the only lesbian here?
Kurt.
Well, you and I have the same
No.
taste. If that
You're
matters.
not a
Yes,
lesbian?
hey, you guys can go girl shopping after. Well, no, you can't, Jaylen. Go home and be good. Be a good dad. Kurt, do you have a pun for us? I will translate it to our listeners. Okay.
What does the janitor say when it comes out of the closet?
What does the janitor say when he comes out of the closet? Oh, this is so fun. What?
Supplies.
Supplies.
That's good.
Oh, that's so.
Supplies.
Kurt, usually, do you know how so many people laugh at his puns, and I have to give him his moment of glory, or else he doesn't
very
press
God,
the buttons?
I totally went to a different place
So
when
did I. I
you
was
said
like,
he
is
came
that
out of the
racist?
closet like,
Yeah,
that
that's
hurt,
not-
or I'm
Yeah.
a bottom, I guess. Like, that's where I was with that.
That's a mighty broomstick or something. Yeah.
Do we have to clean up?
Kurt, thank you so much. Kurt, you need to take a breath. 'Cause you're like ready to have a heart attack.
Wish I would have douched.
More lemon pledge.
This is a family-friendly show.
Where did we get ourselves into?
Fiona's like, I'm going back to Britain. This is ridiculous. Girl, I'm almost going back to Britain.
Yeah,
You guys know how to
It's hard
to protest. You
it's
guys
hard
know what to do.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up here, isn't it?
Yes.
You know,
We will
I've
slow
got
down.
to
It's just
talk- I
exciting.
can try and talk fast. Try and talk faster. That's what it's needed. Is that right?
Well, no. See how you calmed everything down. We're like, oh, we have a
That's
fancy
because
line.
when she talks, we listen.
I love it, though. You've got the best accent on the panel here.
Very
So,
true.
And then when you speak, I feel like I just had a Xanax. I'm like, yeah.
yeah.
All of us were just like, oh.
Just the relaxation.
It's better than me talking like this with a different accent. That's weird. But
You can
this
do
is
so
better.
many.
That
so-
gives a whole new feeling for Shawn.
That accent? You guys,
Oh,
that's the
cool.
show. Good night.
Jaylen's resume of his accent is literally half a page because you do like every accent. You speak like 5 languages, right?
Not fluently. I don't know. who
But
told you that,
conversationally, you could,
Yes,
you
I
know,
do,
you could
yeah.
ask for a drink or find the bathroom or, you know.
yeah. Where's the bathroom in like 10 languages? Oh,
Yes.
hey.
Hey, that's
It's
all you
the
need
same
to
thing.
know
It's
in my
like, where's
language.
it? And they're like, over there.
Yeah. Anyway, like us on Twitter and Instagram at On The Rocks On Air, Facebook On The Rocks Radio Show. Subscribe, like I said, to YouTube. Find us on the web at ontherocksradioshow.com and send me an email. Book me for a wedding, funeral, quinceanera, bris. I don't care. I will show up. Info at ontherocksradioshow.com. And listeners, you've been asking me about Glitter Bomb, and we talked about it last week, but yes, it's official. My new national TV talk show will premiere September 20th with a full season on LA TV. Check your local listings.
Congrats, Alex.
It's in every single state, and you have it in your in your channels.
exciting.
Pay your cable bill so you can watch it, and make sure you tune in. Let's take a sneak peek at what to expect on Glitter Bomb.
Where we discuss the latest in pop culture, entertainment, and news. I'm Entertainment Weekly senior editor Patrick Gomez. I am actor Enrique Zapene.
And I'm Alexander Rodriguez from iHeartRadio's On The Rocks.
As always, we're starting off the show by dropping the bomb. The fact that I met him and that we got along so well and we fell in love. We were at a bar. I actually thought he was on a date with my friend. Luckily, that was not the case. And now we're getting married.
I have 5 cats.
I'm talking with actor and
Do you really
former
have
Queer
podcasts?
Eye for the Straight Guy star, Jay Rodriguez.
Straight men's knowledge of things that were cultural or
Jay.
Jay Rodriguez.
Hey,
I
girl.
think we all know Jay.
Oh my god, I haven't had many. My first one was gay.
What's his phone number?
Keep calm and glitter bomb!
So I'm really excited because we're filming all 13 episodes in like the next 3 weeks, and we have some really great celebrities and fun segments. We're doing fitness segments. Jen Lyons from Claws, she was in town, and we went to a nail salon, and we did her interview there. So
she's so great.
We have such a wide variety. We're going to Outfest to film. We're doing a
Yes,
car
my
interview
show.
with Bruce Valanche, by the way. It's going to be so fun.
Bruce, he's a
Going to my
Bruce.
premiere movie.
Yes,
Right on.
I cannot wait. We're going to film at the premiere.
Exactly.
Keep away from the bar.
No.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna happen.
We're not allowed to
Free
drink with
booze.
LATV.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean,
But
we can hold something.
it's
we can't drink 'em.
afterwards. It's
Yes,
afterwards.
believe me, girl.
There's,
I know.
there's booze.
I'm bringing a
Just do what the
It's free.
celebrity
Free booze.
judges do and put it in a Coca-Cola.
Yes, advertising. That's why Paula Abdul was like, "You're the best singer."
Put it in your sock.
Like Blake Shelton.
Right.
Or Simon, right?
Come visit On the Rocks on the Road. One of our media partners, Laguna Beach Pride, is hosting a hoedown. I'm sure many hoes will be down in Laguna Beach at Mozambique Nightclub, July 29th from 4 p.m. till the end of the evening. It's called Boot Scootin'.
Boot scootin'.
Boot scootin'.
Does anybody here know how to two-step?
Obviously.
No.
I do.
Do you?
do?
I know. You didn't expect the Jew to
I
raise her
don't
hand and
expect-
go,
No,
I
I do
do.
that.
No,
I mean,
Jewish
I
people
could
love
do the
to
Sierra
two-step.
one
Jewish
two-step.
people
The Jewish people. Your people love it. They love it.
No,
it's a
we
good
love,
schmear.
Did
we
you
love
learn that?
bacon. We don't love the two-step.
Did you learn that on the gay boat? The cruise boat?
It's a good schmear. I like
Hey,
that.
I'm here to say, and I'm proud and I'm loud, I grew up in Oklahoma, so
Yes.
I know how to
Where
two-step.
is that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's where the musical came from. Hello. It's where Shirley Jones was
I
born.
know the song. I
Yes.
know the song. And the Wells Fargo wagon.
Well, it's funny because you say country to somebody who's British, and they're like, their country is like like a 20-room mansion like out in a field, like
Yeah.
a sheep grazing. Our country is not as fancified.
I mean, how hard is two-stepping though? Really, how hard is two-stepping? You're in the line.
I'm the
you're
only
stepping.
Latino with no
Incredibly
rhythm.
hard, I guess.
I've done it before, but
Yeah?
it's not that hard.
It's not that hard. If I can do it, it's not that hard.
Well, Jaylen, don't you know ballroom dancing?
I do know some. Yes.
It's on your resume.
Well, then that
it's
would
on
help.
your resume. Just
Yes.
so you
No.
know.
I mean, well, because I booked
But
a
did you
musical.
study
I had
his
to learn,
resume
I
like
did.
the SAT,
Girl, I
Alexander?
studied
Oh, he
a
knows.
lot
He
for
knows.
Mr. Jaylen.
I know what he studied. I know what you studied.
I was like, look at those guns, son. And he's like, bang, bang. I'm like, no.
Please.
Well, dancing was a big part of my family, so I grew up in
Yeah.
it. And, like my older sister was a dance teacher as well, so like ballroom,
Sweet.
tap, jazz. I even did ballet growing up, hip hop, Afghani, you name it, we did it.
You are like a Renaissance man, which we're going to talk about. But in college, well, in high school too, I didn't want to do PE with all the other boys because I was starting to,
course
emerge. And so I was,
You had emerging.
there was a lot of emerging
Is that
going
what
on.
you call the change? Emerging.
My voice never changed.
Those things might get excited.
I've never
very
heard it
quickly.
described like that before. I emerged.
So I signed up for ballet class, and I was the only boy, just so I would have the locker room to myself because it was at a different time than all the other whatever. Except one day they got the bells mixed up, and so I was in
I hate when my bells get mixed up
unitard.
too.
But the bell went off too early, so this whole 3-story building was coming out, and I was going to the locker room in my leotard, and the whole school saw me.
They saw you. They saw you emerge.
Did you twirl
He
for them?
emerged.
I was mortified.
Oh, poor Alex.
Because I was so bad at it too. It wasn't like one of those guys like Billy Elliot. It's like, wow,
Right.
you go, boy. It was like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
5,
like
6, 7, 8.
dough.
Anyway, come down to Laguna Beach to Mozambique on July 29th. I will be there. Out at the fair, I am the MC for Out at the Fair, New Mexico State Fair in Albuquerque, and I've never been to Albuquerque.
Ah, it's a nice town.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
I
so
love it.
September 9th we're going to be there. But the day
Meth,
before,
you like meth.
Well,
we are in Hollywood. Shonda Rhimes is upstairs with her
I've
crew.
had fun there with people.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, it's called meth.
Again, if you
I
like
went to a
math.
film festival. I went to a film festival
Oh,
there. You know
okay.
what I mean?
Again,
you're amongst
meth.
your
Meth,
peers.
yes.
Film fe-
There was no meth.
The birthplace of the idea for Breaking
It's
Bad.
New Mexico, right?
Oh
It's
no! Oh my
Oh,
god!
man.
Anyway, come visit because September 9th I'm on stage all day long, and then the day before we're actually on a float in the New Mexico State Fair parade. I guess 500,000 are going to be there,
Wow.
and I'll be on a float. Boop,
You
boop.
get to wave.
Yes, so go to outatthefair.com for more info. Also, it's official. I'm the MC for Palm Springs Pride again this year on the main stage. First weekend of November. Reason I'm saying it early, it's if you're on the East Coast, it's worth it to make your travel plans because it's so
It's
much
the
fun.
best.
Yeah.
It
It's
really
the
is
best
fun.
gay pride of all of
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
I was there with them last year, and
Oh, that's
we just
right.
had some.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah, of
remember.
course we were drinking. You forgot.
Yeah. Hi.
Shocker.
Professional.
Oh, sorry, we weren't drinking.
Professional drinker. That's
Yes.
what it means.
There
We
you
drank
go.
late, right?
Yeah, no, but anyway, it was so much fun, and it's great for families, gay, straight. You see everybody there, and it's not high pressure like LA Pride, where it's
No.
like
It's actually really
It's like-
casual.
Yeah.
It's like, and what's so sweet is
Like
that
Jimmy
all
Buffett
the
music, it just slows it down, or is it
it's
any-
just like
You can wear your
you've got
slippers and nobody
every
will mind.
high school and their band in it, and you're just like, this is so sweet that you've got every high school from who knows where they are from. you know, because this is Palm
Palm
Springs,
Springs,
you
yeah.
know. But they're all twirling and they're having a great time. It just feels like you're having a natural party.
Well,
Sweet.
yes, it's so much so my grandma and my mom came a few years ago to like see me in the parade, and it was fine for them. Shawn, we totally forgot to okay your friend. Can you tell Kurt what your friend's name is? Because poor thing is at the door.
Oh my
Like,
God.
the whole nation's gonna know who your friend is.
Oh my God, has she been sitting there for like 30 minutes? Poor
Yes.
thing.
Her name's Courtney Cronin.
Courtney Cronin.
Spirit fingers.
And that's for a drive on Kurt.
That's good.
Wow, that's good.
I'm sure she's probably still standing there.
She's
cursing.
like, I'm over this.
Outside the studio.
Yes.
Anyway, so come out to Palm Springs Pride, like I said, and I'm going to be there all 3 days on main stage. LA TV is going to be out there filming. I'm going to be in the Pride Parade for that as well with Gay
Yay.
Entertainment Guide. Jaylen, the whole show's not super gay, just so you know, just this beginning.
No, I'm going to be on the float with you. I
Yes.
mean, that's the element. That's what we're going to tell everybody.
And that's
right?
what's so great. It's so inclusive, this
It is.
parade.
That's Palm Springs.
Yeah, if you roofies, you don't even care.
Have you guys rode in LA Pride? Because I rode in LA Pride 2 years, and I used to do this show called the Bathhouse Show at the Comedy Store.
Oh,
so
my
we
God.
had a big
Yep.
float with all like the 4 gay comedians that represented for the
So it was Julie
Comedy
Goldman,
Store.
Julie Goldman, Julie
Yeah.
Goldman, and
Shawn
Julie Goldman.
Pelofsky.
Yeah.
No, so I was
Out there
I was
stretching it
Yeah, I
out.
was at the top of the float in like a formal in this bathtub that was barely tied down, and we were so loaded I almost fell out of it like 6 times, but it was a wonderful. Both prides were great.
Okay, funny Pride story. Long Beach Pride. I was with the West Hollywood cheerleaders, and our float driver called it sick or whatever. So my mom ended up driving, and she'd never driven a big vehicle before. And she's she's so short she could barely see over the wheel. It was like, were you in The Incredibles or like what? But there was
Like Wilson from
yes,
Home
yeah, it's like,
Improvement.
and it's like, Mom, drive faster. The whole parade is like, stop. No, but there was like fumes coming from the truck, and nobody knew it. So all of us cheerleaders in drag started whatever. We started dropping like flies. And here's my mom, toot, 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 not knowing we were all dead.
It must be like, you know, any problem that happens, she's go, my mom can do it.
Yes.
You know.
But it's true. She's made costumes for shows. His
mom's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
She was at
Yeah.
Chapman
Super
University's first ever Pride Week, and it was a Christian school, and she was on there with a team of professional like philosophers and psychiatrists and all that, and she just talked about unconditional love. She got more numbers that day than I did.
So beautiful.
Let me introduce, speaking of beautiful, let me introduce my bestie for tonight, Stephen Dehler. He's a regular part of On the Rocks family. He's a resident pop culture correspondent. He's a cover and runway model, having appeared in magazines all over the world for many product and fashion campaigns. He's been featured on the cover of international men's magazine DNA and is one of the main faces and bodies for Marco Fashion Design, and he's a favorite on Marco's runway. He was last seen in last season's RuPaul's Drag Race and Will and Grace. Please welcome Stephen Dehler.
And you forgot the Adam Sandler movie.
I got
No,
cut,
I didn't.
I think it was cut. I think it was cut.
And you forgot
Hollywood did.
and you forgot every promotional gay flyer I ever did.
I mean,
Stephen does
Hollywood
every
did.
promotional flyer I ever did.
Well, speaking of promotional, Kurt, can you play his
that's
latest book cover?
I've been doing flyers for Shawn for quite a few years. Oh,
But
yeah.
he's on every romance cover novel, gay, straight, whatever. So this
Yeah.
one, and I
Yeah.
love when he comes on
Yeah.
because I read it. This is Wingman.
I always it's you're reading
Yeah, I'm
it.
gonna
Oh
do it.
no.
Wingman. The story.
He's got like 2% body fat. Look at this.
What is
I
that?
have a secret
What is
lifestyle
Wingman?
as a romance cover model.
Oh, you would have know this.
I have like 30 covers.
No,
of
it's
random
ridiculous.
books.
There's so many covers. So here's the description of this book. Chase McKenna is the hottest bartender in the city, and he knows it. Sexy, charming, and abs for days. It's no wonder every girl who walks through the doors is panting for him, except me. I'm stuck crushing on my perfect boss who has zero idea I'm even alive. I need a plan to catch his attention, and who better to teach me the tricks of seduction than Mr. Panty Dropper himself. That's on the official cover of this book.
Cute panty dropper.
Oh,
So ridiculous.
Yeah.
They should see Panty Dropper
I
in
know.
West Hollywood.
Tattoo Palm Springs.
It's more like a jockstrap dropper at that point.
Right, with a ball gag. I love it.
But it's so funny because Steven, like, we know Steven. He's the most down to earth. He doesn't get involved in any shenanigans, no drama. I mean, he's part of the family. Anyway, but we've had a week. We attended the Hydra World Tour.
Yeah, we did the hydrofacial. That was amazing.
Well, and I never pay attention to my face. I use Irish
is
Spring,
that?
literally.
What is that?
You explain it, because
Yeah,
I don't know
please,
what
I don't
happened to us.
understand what a Hydra.
I still don't.
Well, Hydra
Water?
with water, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's basically a purifying facial. They have like this old tour bus, I guess they're doing around the country,
Yeah.
and we went to it on Thursday with a few of our friends.
A few of our friends. Well, here's our random group of friends. We had lunch.
It was the most random group of people.
Shaws of Sunset,
Yeah, it was
MJ's
fun.
Javid, Golden Globe winner Joanna Cassidy, Real Housewives of Orange County Peggy Sulahian, Vanderpump Rules Jeremy Maddox, and newly stars Craig Ramsey.
I know. Who
And most importantly, me and Alexander.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, it was fun. So they basically they had
like a
us
vacuum.
Yeah, they had it. Felt, they described it as like a cat tongue, because that's how it felt when it was sucking your skin. But what they did is they used this hydrofacial. They like massage your skin while they're sucking on it with this. Hydra.
It's so comfortable.
That sounds
Who's sucking on it?
On your
What?
face?
It's this little vacuum that's sucking on your skin. And
No, it's actually really good.
It's called like there's a name for that,
No,
but I
it's-
don't think.
Yeah,
It's called a good time in Koreatown.
I've just heard about it. I don't know.
Well, the thing is that the most alarming part of the whole experience is that they don't tell you that they're doing this, but after they're like, oh, and here's your canister, where it's a canister of
and
half filled like water, and it shows all the dirt that they pulled out of your
Here's
skin.
Steven.
Yeah.
You know what though?
I
It's
had
kinda
two
like,
canisters like
It's one
reload.
of those vacuum places when they come to your house and they're doing
Yeah.
up dirt. It's not real.
No, this was real. That was all me and
my
liquid.
my skin was glowing.
How
after
much
that.
dirt came out of your skin,
Yeah,
Steven?
His wasn't that bad.
I don't
Mine was.
know.
Mine
I
had
mean,
Smirnoff
I
label
didn't know
on
it-
it.
I
So I
didn't
was like, here's what came out.
That's what we're drinking.
I pulled up Peggy. I didn't know what to expect, so I had like a slight layer of makeup on. 'Cause I didn't know what we were doing. I was like, where are we? We're going to lunch. I'm like, I'm gonna be around a bunch of famous people. I can't like show up there not with like somewhat a little bit of face on right now.
And Peggy Sulahian from OC Housewives, and her moniker for her season was resting bitch face. She had a full face of makeup, so she came in. She's like, "Can you do it on my hand?" No joke. Sean, do you want to text your friend? She like left the gate, so just tell her to come
did
back.
she?
She's on the lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
poor-
I'm
oh,
so
poor
sorry.
thing,
Tell
poor
her we have free vodka. All right, but also you helped us with Glitter Bomb. You were Man on the Streets in West Hollywood. Now this
Yeah.
was kind of your first on-camera kind of hosting and having to ask people on the street stuff.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It's every time I've been on camera in that sort of aspect, it's usually been interviews on like runways or for Marco and stuff like that. But this was like an opportunity to go around and sort of host on the streets for Mama Rose knows. Am I allowed to
She
say
gave
that?
advice to all kinds of people on the street. That was a lot
It
of
was
fun.
funny, yeah. It was
Yeah.
a good time because it wasn't like the best advice sometimes, which made it even
Which
funnier.
makes it the best advice.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
Yeah.
best advice. It's her advice, and her advice is really good advice.
Yeah. Like somebody says, "Oh, what's your recipe for enchiladas?" And she's like, "Order."
She's like that. Yeah. She's like, there's a lot of restaurants around town. I'll tell you what. Yeah.
But it was funny because it was kind of her first time in camera, and the first couple of questions she was whatever, and then we couldn't shut her up. We're like, "Okay, we got enough," and she's like, "Film me more."
Yeah.
Good
It was
job.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good. It was a lot of fun.
So look for Steven on season 1 of Glitter Bomb. I think
Yeah.
you're going to be on 4 different episodes.
Yay!
All right, so
You're gonna be there
let's.
Thursday. You better be there Thursday.
I was told that it was restricted to only ethnics and trans and disabilities.
I'm getting a spray tan tomorrow.
So he'll be there Thursday.
I think send you a special.
Am I saying that?
RSVP.
Yes. No,
You
you
don't
know I
fall
love our
under
community. I did talk this week though, and this is kind of controversial. You know, Scarlett Johansson pulled out of
Yes.
Rub and Tug,
Yes.
and
She pulled out.
I'm not okay with that, and I'm probably the only one that's going to say that I'm not okay with that.
Why?
We are trying to show that we're inclusive, and we've just shown an A-lister who was on our side how exclusive we are. And if you could fill her spot with an A-lister trans actor, I'm all for it. So go ahead and give me 5 names that.
But
that
I also,
fill her
So
place.
we gotta get Laverne Cox.
but what she was,
That can act, I
She
said.
did have a very tone deaf response originally. She said
Because
to,
she's
like,
done so much for the community, and the first thing that we do for somebody that wants to represent our community is no. We don't want you. Well, isn't that what the world supposedly is doing to us? We've done the exact same thing, even worse, because we're supposed to be
What
a
has
community
she
that you can come
done?
and be part of it. She's helped the LGBT. She's helped volunteer. She's done it, and she did her research for this role. It's not like she was just taking a role and stepping on whatever. She was researching our community.
I think it's
and
just
we
a
don't
pattern
have the
of-
actors there
I think
yet
it was
to
just
take
a
her
pattern
place.
of behavior for her because she had done a role previously
Goes
that
to the
was
show.
whitewashing.
But that character, we assumed it was an Asian character, but it's Ghost in the Shell was not even specifically an Asian character.
I think it just because it was so both were
I
in a row.
I personally
kind of.
think that it has a lot to do with what's going on politically.
Yeah.
Which I totally see,
and it
but
has-
now this mainstream film that was going to be seen by everybody and probably an Oscar contender is now going to be seen by only the LGBT community. Congratulations.
Okay. So there.
And I'm not political, but I
Yeah,
feel so
understand.
strongly.
Understand
Why are we
that.
excluding people from our
Because
community?
It's just a sensitive time, and
Yeah, I
people
think it's just
are.
But you see how sensitive I just got for the other
And we
side.
do have good actors. I mean, Pose is showing us that we
Yeah.
have a whole
Did
new
you see
group
my
of
post about
actors.
that today?
Yes, I did. See
No, I
your
did not
post
see
about
it.
that.
There
He
is
thinks
one
the acting is
amazing
very
actor on that.
inconsistent.
Angel is phenomenal.
I just said that today, but
Yeah.
I posted that Pose is a great show, and I love the message, and I
Yeah.
love that we're getting a voice on a big budget way. But the acting is so inconsistent, and sometimes it's very poor. It takes you out of the story, and it's defeating the purpose. And so the point of entertainment, number one, yes, we want to educate, but the point number one is to have a good product. Billy, you know this. You've done how many independent films with zero budget, but you have to make a quality
project. But I get the
project.
best actors I can possibly be.
And that's what you
and
have
they,
to do.
They come to the but I try
and if they
to
can't
always,
do the role, then they can't do the role. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Right. I agree.
Anyway, I can't believe I just went off on that.
Alexander.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Preach.
It's a
Keep
really
it
good
going.
point, and I
Keep
see
it
your
going.
side, and I see the other side too, and I'm like, I'm listening. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say no, or I don't.
I'm a gay
agree,
man. If I was
but-
up for a role and Meryl Streep
but-
came in to read for a gay man, give it to Meryl.
I just felt I needed to say something.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Do you know what I mean?
Just
Anything
fucking-
really.
she's so polite and proper. She's
I'm
like,
just struggling. I'm struggling to. I can't, interrupting people is not something I do terribly well.
welcome to America.
I understand.
So,
That's this show, actually. It's not a normal
our
show.
president just did it to your queen.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah, just when England.
Don't even get on that topic.
I want to say, just when England thought losing the World Cup was the worst thing that happened
You had
to
to
him,
bring that
here
up.
comes
Yeah.
Trump.
most
Sorry,
uncomfortable
we sent him
visual.
to your country.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway,
Exactly.
I promise, Fiona, you can interrupt us, but we are going to get to the nitty gritty
Yeah.
with our panel today. Just real fast, we start off so we can all round table jump in.
I'm just drinking vodka
Stephen,
here.
go
It's
ahead
just-
Perfect.
and take it away.
Cool.
Oh, we have your intro. Hello.
I know.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Is that his intro?
We can't see it.
On the Rocks is proud to present Pop on the Rocks, your daily dose of Dehler with your host, Stephen Dehler, bringing us the latest dish in pop culture. Take it away, Stephen.
I should text
I'll
my
be in the
boyfriend to
corner
say,
drinking.
you better be drinking.
Yes.
Yeah, right, he's in the corner drinking. Yeah. As I'm filling
So
mine back
that
up.
he's in the we're on the
So,
same page.
so today's a slightly truncated version of my pop culture report because we have full cast
We have
today.
a full cast today.
But no worries, there's not much going on in pop culture really right now because everyone's been a little distracted this week, haven't they? But I'll start off right now with Mandy Moore. I mean, nothing's more pop in pop culture than Mandy Moore. I mean, remember?
You mean Mandy Moore?
She's beautiful.
Oh my gosh, she's not bored. You know what? Well, you're not a fan of Last of Us, but she's.
This Is Us, you mean?
No, The Last of Us.
Oh,
This is us. This is us. This is us.
The Last
No,
of
no.
Us.
Last of Us is a
Another
Last of Us
show.
is a video game. It's
I'm
like
going
the
to lose my
great part.
entertainment, like,
Oh my God.
good.
Anyway,
This
This
Is
Is Us.
Us.
She's great on This Is Us, but she actually is. She's returning to music, which she hasn't gone back to music probably since her first album, right?
How
Like when's the last time she's been back
what
to music?
was her song? I don't remember her.
Can't
coming out.
I miss? No, is that?
Don't
Missing
tell
you like
me.
can't.
That's how memorable
Well, she
it
was a
was.
princess entangled.
She's not even a one-hit wonder. She's
Well,
like a light slap wonder.
But she kind of does music very like briefly because she didn't want to be another bubblegum pop girl, and that's why she went into acting instead, which she's done very well. But apparently she was afraid of it. She just said recently she posted a snippet of her new project that she's doing, and she said, quote, getting back to it, it's time, I miss it, I'm not scared anymore, no more excuses, no more allowing someone else's insecurities to dictate my relationship to music and singing. So apparently she had I never knew that she had this sort of like relationship with music like that. She was terrified of what people's reactions would be.
A lot of actors have a musical career that they've come from, and it's in their bones, whether they were in a band, whether before, but you know, Hollywood's so waiting for, an actor who can sing, let's see, and nobody's taken seriously on one or the other side until J-Lo came out.
But she sang first, Mandy Moore,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
went into
she did.
acting.
She
And
did
when you're
sing
doing
first.
great things like 47 meters down, why go back
Oh no, not
to
47.
singing?
Oh no! What was that one song?
That was her career.
What was that one movie? What was it? Life to Remember. What was it called? Something where she was dying of cancer.
Mandy Moore was dying of cancer.
In a movie, back in the early
good.
2000s.
man.
I mean, sorry.
In a movie.
Anyway,
A
This
Walk
Is
to
Us.
Rem-
Back to This
A
Is
Walk
Us.
to Remember. That's what it was called. A Walk to Remember.
Oh yeah, with
Yeah.
Keanu
That
Reeves,
sounds so
right?
sad.
Yeah. and
That
so
was a
she-
nap to remember.
Oh no! I actually really enjoyed that movie. When I
It was a
younger.
sequel to The Last of Us.
Mandy's going to be at Hotel Transylvania 4. It's going to be fine.
She will
Oh,
be.
man.
She'll be the star.
Well, I'm sure everyone has. I'll move on to the next subject because I'm sure everyone has an opinion on this because Forbes came out with an article recently about Kylie Jenner
Oh,
reaching
PU.
self-made billionaire status and
Self-made.
And look at her picture.
Yes, and that's the photo.
Yeah, poor thing.
Everyone was very. I mean, the self-made already at a platform that has.
Can you define
But-
self-made for me? If
but
she's
they-
going to be self-made?
Yeah, no, they
Exactly.
had on.
I'd like to be that self-made.
Actually, dictionary.com had a definition.
They
of
and they
what's-
posted it.
They posted
Marian-
some
yeah,
shade.
Marian's-
that
yeah,
day,
they did. They
saying
did.
what
They're good at that.
self-made was.
Yes.
Or her version
Yeah.
of self.
But the most ridiculous thing about this whole situation is now people are, because she's at 900 million. She's not actually at $1 billion yet, y'all. So apparently people are donating
I
to
heard
Yes,
that.
I heard that.
her.
I heard they're giving her money.
So that she.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding.
not-
Is
Oh
it-
my God! I just vomited in my
frightening.
mouth
Yeah.
a little.
Flint,
frightening.
Michigan still doesn't have clean water, and Puerto Rico is still.
I'm
It's
sure
those
she'll
two
give
Puerto
everyone-
Rico.
How about
But-
outside
Really?
Sunset Gower Studios? There's a line of homeless people.
Puerto
but-
Rico.
Well, it's just crazy. So I do hope that any
That's a hard
donations
one.
she does receive, I hope she.
What she
donates
does start like a
that
GoFundMe?
to something
Yeah.
else.
Well, she's self-made because her sister made a sex tape. I need a sister who will do that for me.
Well,
Well, it's what we all have to
I
do,
made a
right?
sex tape. Nothing's ever happened to me. I'm
It was
exhausted.
on America's Funniest Home Videos. Didn't you win the $100,000?
Sean, it was only 30 seconds.
Sorry, Jaylen. I had to let everybody know.
Why did you tell them?
All
I
right,
would
it's
watch
out.
that, by the
It is
way.
only
I
in
would
black
watch
and
that.
white, though.
Why
We
does somebody
tried.
who can you can write it? I mean, what was the person writing the article thinking the whole time?
Damn
like,
it.
oh, this young
They
girl.
probably got paid to do that.
Which is probably just well.
Kardashians
Okay.
probably gave him Forbes a little investor
yeah.
boost, and there
You're
you
probably
go.
right.
Yeah, because Kim Kardashian came out after that about all the backlash and defended.
You guys,
her.
stop it.
Mom's
So
got it all
gross.
down.
Oh,
She's
man.
fixing everything.
All right.
Caitlin's in
I mean, if
Malibu.
I already had 60 million followers on Instagram and already had millions,
Are
and
they
millions
real,
and
though?
millions, for them, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Who here follows the Kardashians?
Nobody.
No one.
Nobody. You guys look at my Instagram.
let's
It's
face
like
it,
following
he says
Jaylen.
Steven.
Yeah.
I
No.
watched the show twice
Nobody
in my
does.
life. Maybe.
I don't because
curiosity?
any information I get about them, I see it and it shows up in the media.
I
Well, you interviewed
I
Caitlyn.
interviewed Caitlyn, and actually was it was after a lot of bashing when I
Yeah.
got her, and actually she was pretty amazing. And I was very pessimistic, but I wanted to make sure that she felt comfortable when she sat down with me for an hour, and just really try to make her feel comfortable. And she really opened up, and she said some really amazing things for me. And I had a very different perspective of her, especially when you have to understand what kind of a world that being was brought up in, and what their perception of reality is very different than our perception of reality. Just like that little one, right? The reason why she became what she is because of that box that she lives in. She doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
Except she's got support like you can't believe. I think I'll make a bra. Well, everybody's going to buy that damn bra.
It's not her. It's somebody says, "Here's the designs. Will you sign off on it?" I just made a bra.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But just with
I liked it.
That's serious. Yeah, they don't design it. They have like warehouses where there's like things there that are just sitting around. I mean, when I was
China.
I was looking into
Yeah.
doing like I was looking into
Yeah.
doing skincare like ages ago, and like someone was like told me about like a warehouse that's filled with just products that just,
You just put
need
your
a
label.
title,
Yeah.
a
label
name
on
and
top
whatever.
of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Totally.
But you got to look at that
Totally.
family.
Yeah.
Like Kim Kardashian is the world's most annoying person who happened to marry the other world's most annoying
Where are
person.
their
So
kids
if,
gonna be?
if
I
you
mean-
feel like you
I'm
can't
not gonna
find
say that. I
somebody,
love them
there's
all.
somebody for you, right?
I don't want Caitlyn to think I'm upset with her. But anyway.
As he drinks. Fill up his vodka. Fill up the cup.
Yeah,
He needs
I
it.
don't think.
Give him a double.
I think that's the last thing that anyone got from any of
Yeah,
us.
I don't think
Upset with
so.
Caitlyn. Yeah, no, it's it'll be. I don't know.
So what's your next one? We all
Yeah.
get how we all feel about
Yeah, we all
Caitlyn.
know. Yeah, we all know how we feel about
We all
that.
know.
So then, my third and last topic for today is Vegas and Britney Spears. Britney Spears just recently started her Piece of Me tour.
Oh, I think I'm saying.
But also she released as well this week a unisex fragrance. I guess
Called
Oh, yeah.
Stink.
called Prerogative.
Prerogative.
It's her.
Talk about a warehouse full of product that needs
She
to be moved.
actually has a very like she has it's her
Room
it's her
stink.
22nd fragrance, but it's 22nd.
22
yeah,
fragrances.
22nd
Where are
fragrance?
these?
Since
So in 20 seconds, it goes
22
away.
22 second 20. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. 22nd. Yeah, 22nd fragrance. Yeah, I said it
Have
right.
you smelt it?
So it just disappeared.
I haven't smelt it yet. Apparently, well, she's been posting a lot of things with apples, so I'm assuming it has
What's
a
a
little bit of
22nd fragrance?
Fragrance,
Yeah, really.
22nd fragrance. She's
What
had
is it?
20.
She's
She has
already made
22
21.
fragrances
Already
over
made
the
21.
over 12
I
years.
like mine better that
I
she
missed
walks
that.
around and it's gone in 20 seconds.
I missed that.
So did I.
22
Okay.
22nd.
So she's had this is
She had 21 bottles of perfume, and this is the 22nd
Scent.
her collection.
Scent that she's created.
Not
And people
20, not
buy it
20 seconds.
at Ross.
20
Okay,
seconds.
but how cool would that have been
very true.
for you to play along for my dumb ass to think that was 20 seconds of fragrance? I'm like, how the hell is she going to market that? 20 seconds, Britney Spears. Check out this fragrance. It's very expensive. I go through it in a week.
I just gotta
I'm
say,
like, what?
that's really smart of her, though. I think that's
It's
kind
easy
of
money.
pretty genius.
Even if it's a failure, she's
You'll
still
go
going to
through that
make
bottle.
a
Man,
Super
Twenty
fun.
more power to her.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
makes it and they're
Smell.
buying it. More power
Well,
to her.
it clearly targets the LGBT or her gay fans because
It's
it's
unisex.
it's unisex. So it's been she's had perfume for years, and
I'm
gays
not
have
gonna wear
been asking her for generations.
Actually.
Like, can you please send us some fragrance?
Have you ever worn a shirt that's unisex? It's not that unisex.
I actually already am gonna buy one for Alexander. He's gonna have.
It's my birthday next month.
Oh my
perfect.
god.
It's my prerogative.
Perfect.
Oh, and
So
wait,
there you go. There you go.
Alexander, do we have
Perfection.
another Leo in the house?
No, I'm a Virgo.
Oh, I'm
In
sorry.
name only. I don't do
I love
anything
her.
Virgo.
Well, I wanted to
love
use her
Virgo.
to lead into the fact that she's
Scorpio.
going to have a new residency next year, and I want to know everyone's opinions on. So now everyone wants. Has anyone even like? Did you know that Gwen Stefani has a residency in Vegas right now?
Unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
So if you know
Yes.
anyone that's gone and seen,
I love
like,
her.
No.
I
I
love
would
her.
love
I
to
love
see
her
that.
too.
I would see
Did
that.
you want?
I
I'd
don't
see
like
that.
her since she started dating Blake Shelton.
Yeah.
Why?
We don't know.
How do you
Why
stop
are you hating
dating
on Gwen?
Kevin?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm done.
What's
I
his
don't
name?
know.
I didn't like her on
I
The
don't know her.
Voice.
I didn't watch, but I didn't watch
Yeah.
it. That was the best thing to do.
You didn't watch The Voice?
No, I don't watch
Oh my
any of
God,
those
I watch
shows.
all those shows. I'm an
They
official
bore me.
singing judge.
Oh my god, Sean! I went to a live taping of The Four last week.
You
That one- yeah, I
did? And didn't you feel like an official judge yourself? You're like, you're pitchy dog.
No,
Get
it's
him off,
terrible. You're just,
right?
like, you're just in the crowd. No, it's
Speaking of
I
the
do.
four,
And
in
there
2 weeks,
really was a dog, right?
in 2 weeks we have Matt Bloyd, who was on the four.
Really?
He's coming in to perform live in 2 weeks on the show.
I actually really like the concept
so
of the
cute.
show. It's different than all the other reality
Oh, it's
shows.
so
I've
different.
Who's this? What?
Well,
I went away.
You haven't heard of The Four? It's like the show starts. It's so
Meghan
Pete,
Trainor.
P. Diddy,
people.
Meghan Trainor, and
Fergie.
DJ Khaled are the
And they
judges.
just sit and talk?
They're the judges. No, and then Fergie is the host, and they have four contestants that the judges had picked at the beginning of the season that are people that are in the industry, but they haven't made their big break yet, but they're talented. They're either backup singers or they've
That's
worked
kinda cool.
or they've worked with them before.
Yeah,
The winner
they go
of
find 'em.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
winner of the competition gets to basically work with all three judges on their next album.
That's how The
basically.
Voice though was
They narrowed
too.
down to
I had
4
so many
people?
friends.
So
that
they
were
have four when
contacted.
they start the show,
Yeah.
and every
Please come
episode
on.
people come and audition, and the judges choose whether that person gets to challenge one of the four. And then if the person was really great and they like the audition, they get like 3 circles. Fergie spins every time.
3
It's really
circles?
funny. Yeah, because like they're sitting on this stage, and if they get a yes, a circle turns blue. If they get a yes, the circle turns blue. If they get a no, the circle turns red.
It's too
They have,
complicated.
it's
I'm
just-
bored
just-
already.
It's not complicated. It's super easy. But the funny thing is, the person
Can't
gets
do
the person gets to challenge one of the people that are already sitting down. If the judges say yes, and then the audience there gets to vote and say whether they like the
I still have no
original.
clue
See,
what is
but
going
I
on.
always like these singing shows because when you watch any of these shows and like the judges turn around or they look at someone and they see someone's really young and they're like, oh my gosh, how old are you? And they're like, I'm 16. They're like, oh my gosh, you're gonna win The Voice. And then if they turn around, they see someone who's older and they're like, oh my gosh, how old are you? And they're like, I'm 43. And they're like, oh, you're gonna die soon. Good luck. Like,
But you still might win.
yeah,
like you better.
maybe.
Good try. Like
It's
I hope
over.
you win The Voice.
Yes. Bless thee.
Except I think, does anyone know anyone that's won The Voice? Like, do anyone remember anyone?
I want to watch
That's
some
not
of
the
these
point,
shows
though.
with
The-
you.
it's the
No
best.
one's-
You probably
no
yell at the
one's
TV.
grown
don't you?
I think-
The Voice.
Yeah,
I think
yell
you
at it
should do
all.
like live commentary, Sean. I think you should do that.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. You doing
Live
live commentary
commentary.
for those kind of shows.
Just have a camera
My
on
husband
her.
hears it all the time. I mean, like we sit and
Poor
I'll
guy.
Start doing it on Facebook Live.
We
Would
will.
that be
Yeah,
hilarious?
I do make-
do
Start
Insta
doing
Live and
it.
just do it,
I do
yeah.
make commentary about my 2 favorite shows, which is The Bachelor,
Oh,
The
yeah, you-
We
Bachelorette.
had
And
the
I
winner
do-
of The Bachelorette, Brian Abasolo, was here last week.
Really?
Yeah, and-
I love
Dr.
him.
Ads.
Hola, papi. I love
He
him.
speaks-
You had
he
that
speaks
hot Latin
Spanish,
guy in
yeah.
here. How dare you not invite me? Sorry, husband, if you're listening. Anyways.
He's getting married. He's actually marrying that.
Oh, no, he's marrying Rachel.
Oh, really?
He won The Bachelorette.
Yes, and yes.
How long do you think that's
he was
gonna
my
last?
pick right away.
It has lasted, honestly.
They
and
like
they've
each
been
other.
engaged for about a year now, right?
How many people from The Bachelor
One
have
of you.
stayed together?
Brian.
There's been about like 25 bachelorettes like total.
Yeah.
And I think maybe about
2.
8 or 9 have made it through. Have
That's
solidly
about
made
the
it through.
divorce
That's like
rate
real
in the country
relationships
anyway.
in real
isn't
life.
it?
That's real life.
Yeah.
Like
should
that's
last
about
a couple
accurate
months.
to America.
Couple months.
About right. Yeah.
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Oh, we haven't started yet?
Yeah, we're on the road, right?
That was just a
We're
warm
like
up.
halfway to
I'm just
Vegas
here
now.
for my looks.
Vodka.
Are we leaving?
You're 25 pack over there, 2% body fat.
Thank you, Stephen Deller, for
Thank
your
you.
pop on the
Yay,
box.
Steven.
All right, Billy Clift.
What?
Billy grew up in Hollywood in an entertainment family and had a successful career as a hair and makeup artist, most notably for Bewitched Elizabeth Montgomery's personal and professional makeup hair until her passing in 1995. He started his career as a filmmaker in 2007 and has since created documentaries and films, including his parody films, Baby Jane and Hush Up Sweet Charlotte, the short biographical film Monty, based on the life of iconic film and stage actor Montgomery Clift, who's actually one of Billy's relatives. Here TV's travel show Underground, their new series Falling for Angels, starring Daniel Franzese, and the web series My Sister Is So Gay, starring Lonnie Anderson and Deborah Wilson. We had Lonnie on the show. It was it was such a fun interview. This week at Outfest, Billy is premiering his feature-length documentary, A Long Road to Freedom. The Advocate celebrates 50 years at the Samuel Goldwyn Theater, narrated by Laverne Cox and music by Melissa Etheridge. Please welcome Billy Clift.
Yay!
Now you see, he's self-made.
Yes, yes.
That's self-made.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
thank you.
That's hashtag
There you
self-made.
go. There you go.
Take that, Kylie.
Also
There we
joining
go.
us is Shawn Pelofsky. Shawn was born
Who's he?
Who's that dude?
When Steven was like, I have a funny comedian for the show. Shawn. I'm like, is he cute?
He sure is.
Yeah, that's what he
His
said.
tits are huge.
She was one out of only 10 Jews in the whole state of Oklahoma. Performing since the age of 8, it was only natural that she decided to pursue a career in comedy. By the age of 20, she was training in sketch comedy at the Groundling School with comedic giant Will Ferrell. And with a couple of years of improv under her belt, she became a member of the Acme Comedy Theater.
Oh my God, it's the whole bio, isn't it?
During her time at Acme, she flourished, which now she's a regular at the world famous Comedy Store right here on
Yes.
Sunset Boulevard.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
And also,
Well, you were the resident host for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, we're going to talk all about that. I'm sure there's
Right.
interesting stories. She's also performed for our troops in places like Afghanistan, Bosnia, Bahrain, and Guantanamo Bay. She performs weekly on the infamous main room stage. And also been featured in Montreal Just for Laughs Comedy Festival and the all-female hit comedy tours Pretty Funny Women, Nice Jewish Girls Gone Bad, and The Hot Tamales produced by Ava Longoria. She's open for guests such as Richard Lewis, Robert Klein, and Bill Maher, written for comedic legend Joan Rivers on Fashion Police, and I got to see a couple of tapings of Fashion Police. So awesome! Television and credits, film credits include Community, Lip Service, Chelsea Lately, which you have to see the YouTube clips of your Chelsea Lately. So funny. Weather Gone Viral on the Weather Channel. Woo woo! When you got that call, it was like,
Thank
what?
you.
Yes. Gossip Queens, Comics Unleashed, Pauly Shore's Minding the Shore, The Last Comic Standing, and something I am obsessed about, Free Enterprise starring William Shatner. You can currently catch Shawn taking gay male audiences on the Atlantis cruises worldwide. Gay prides around the USA, hosting HRC events, and...
Is this over yet?
Yeah, almost.
So sorry.
Alexander is very
yes,
thorough.
I'm very thorough. I'm also a writer for the TV game show Funny You Should Ask. And you can purchase her comedy album.
It's your fault for
Shawn
having so much going
Pelofsky
on.
is Lady Haha on iTunes. And also her first 1-hour comedy special, Stretch It Out! Get up, Carl. Welcome, Shawn Pelofsky.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well done,
Jaylen Moore.
I'm not following that. Let's take a break.
Right. Right.
Oh my God.
If talent takes you far in life, Jaylen Moore is a world-class traveler. He's a true triple threat.
I'm a triple threat.
I'm getting sweaty already. Known for his perilous acrobatic stunts and fighting style, versatile acting chops, and comedic timing. Who knew? Your comedy reel was so funny because I had watched The Six. I binge-watched The Six, and I was like, and then you make me laugh. I'm like, what is happening? He is the epitome of the action hero and Renaissance man. He can currently be seen in the scripted series Six, a contemporary military action drama from A&E Studios and the Weinstein Company. Hope you didn't get touched. It follows Navy SEAL Team 6, whose 2014 mission to eliminate a Taliban leader in Afghanistan goes awry when they uncover a U.S. citizen working with the terrorists with Walton Goggins, Olivia Munn. He's been seen in Bad Moms, Heart Pursuit, Man Down. I saw that movie, but it was a different version. Hunger Games, Escape Plan, Tom Cruise, and Morgan Freeman in Oblivion, among many, many others. On TV, he's appeared in CW's The Originals, Bones, MTV's comedy film Ladies Man, 6 episodes of Conan O'Brien's Wolf Boy spoof of Taylor Lautner. If that didn't have me sold, I don't know. Reoccurring roles in Red Band Society with Academy Award winner Octavia Spencer, and he appeared in Showtime's Emmy-winning drama Homeland. He started his career musical, by the way, in Chicago's Second City, and it was where, sorry boys, he met his wife, actress-screenwriter Britt Logan, father of a beautiful daughter, and your Instagram pictures are just... And son!
3 months.
That's right.
3 months, yeah.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
He speaks Dari, is conversational in Spanish, Arabic, and Pashto. He's a man of healthy living and discipline, as you can see by those guns, with extensive work in fitness training. Please welcome Jaylen and his abs.
Not after seeing his abs.
Girl, I've seen too much of Stephen Taylor.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Thanks for having me.
I'm like, he's Jewish too. Okay.
Wow.
This I can say about Fiona Goodwin. All these statements are true, and I feel like Yoda presented it like that. Fiona is an LA-based stand-up comic who has appeared at the Comedy Store, Flappers, the Colony Theater, and the Electric Lodge. She was a high school behavior specialist on the TV show Britain's Worst Teenager. Talk about a show. She was also a missionary in Honduras, once kissed a girl there in the jungle while wearing a Satan costume. She has indulged in tea and scones in the Cotswolds and tea in Peru. She has taught English to kindergartners in Florence, Italy, and there fell in love with an Australian cellist. She enjoys cycling in France, eating churros in Urja, fishing in Positano, and drinking Moet Chandon in Hollywood. Boop, boop. Girl, yes. She's like the anti-mame of like comedy.
I like Australians too, girl.
So we've heard.
Yes. All of these stories have culminated in her latest incarnation. All of these moments shaped into a solo play, a very British lesbian that chronicles her spiritual, social, sexual, and psychological journey on the road to living comfortably in her skin and life as a gay woman. Currently, she is touring around the U.S. with a European tour soon to follow. Welcome, Fiona!
Thank you. Yeah. And I'm going to rename the show A Very Silent British Lesbian. I can't get a bloody word in.
No, but you will now. You will now.
I? Okay. Good.
Also, you have studied as a psychotherapist. You studied spiritual psychology.
I am a psychotherapist, yeah.
So how does that meld with your comedy? Because your comedy is very smart. It's not, and like who, there's so many questions I have.
Right.
How do you mix your psychology experience into like building your show, building your set, which is very based on your life? Did you psychoanalyze yourself to create your show?
Endlessly. Yeah. Endlessly, yes. No, I spent years and years and years staying in the closet, and I didn't come out till I was about 48. And I spent all my psychotherapy time in psychotherapy trying to be straight. So I have a lot of understanding of how to hide. So
and you even went through like religious exorcisms, right?
I did. I thought becoming Christian at 15 would help with the problem of my sexuality. And so the church were very, very kind and loving, and they wanted to get the demon out of me. So they tried to exorcise me.
That'd be a great movie.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the new...
this fabulous, like, gay just comes right out.
No. The new film... There's a new film coming out. It's with Nicole Kidman and who was the awful guy in Les Miserables? Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
And it's about conversion therapy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's bringing...
So I went through a lot of conversion therapy.
Wow.
And endless exorcisms. And then I became a missionary. I went into a convent, first of all, to train as a nun. Because
let's send a lesbian with all the nuns, with all the women, right?
Yeah. Well, I thought if I could be alone and isolate myself and not be in a relationship with anybody, that was the answer.
So cutting off love is the answer to loving the wrong person.
It worked terribly well. And then I went off to Honduras to be a missionary, and I was in a performing arts team. And I auditioned, and I got the role of Satan.
And they knew what was up. They're like, she is not converting.
Yeah. And then I went there because I was told that they would be able to cure me. And I fell in love with the girl who's playing the part of the Virgin Mary. And
oh my God, there's all kinds of psychotherapy. That's
an amazing story.
And we travelled through the jungle, having a rip-roaring affair. We had a fabulous time, but knowing that we were going to hell.
Hey.
So,
and you got a standing O after every performance.
I love hell.
Yeah.
Now, who were your earliest influences? Because I love British comedy. It's so dry and it's not out there. That's probably why the show was like, oh, God.
Right.
Who were your earliest influences growing up?
French and Saunders.
Oh, my God, I love French. Well, their opera skit makes me pee. It's so funny.
Right. No, French and Saunders, Victoria Wood, Tracy Ullman I was a big fan of Tracy
Yes.
Ullman.
Love her.
Eddie Izzard.
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean, not so much. I love Mr. Bean, but
It's not
it's not my kind of. It's not my kind of humor. It's more like
she picked the only British comedian she knew. She's like, Mr. Bean.
No, I just wanted to say Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean.
Nobody's ever like, you know who I idolize? Mr. Bean. You don't really hear that
a lot of
Rowan
times because he took a
Atkinson.
lot of his stuff from Charlie Chaplin, and he was so physical in his comedy, whereas the other comedy is very it's
cerebral.
You have to You have to.
Right.
Yeah,
I did have an encounter with him. I was staying at a friend's house once, and she said, "Would you like to take?" There were lots of house guests. Would you like to take tea up to the couple upstairs? And it was Mr. Bean and his wife.
Oh my God!
Yes, I was shocked.
And they invited you in for a threesome. That's so crazy.
It was. Yeah, it was amazing.
I'm just going to bring something up to somebody's house.
And then I taught him how to play ping pong.
Oh.
How about Monty Python?
Monty Python. I didn't have a relationship with Monty Python. But I'm sure it would have been. No, none of them. But I love the, Find the Sandal, that one, the Holy Grail. I love that.
Yeah,
it's great.
But also, earlier on, Peter Cook and Dudley Moore. Do you remember them?
Yes. Of course I did. Arthur, one of my favorite movies.
Awesome.
Taking a knife out of the cheese.
Your accents are good, Shawn.
Thank you.
Now, for you ladies, is the role of women in comedy, is it improving? Because I know over the years, to have a spotlighted woman in comedy, like we had Joan Rivers kind of set the bar, but that was it. Now we have like Sarah Silverman. Now we have like Amy Schumer, if you consider them, part of comedian circuit. Mm-hmm. Is comedy kind of going the way of Hollywood, where now we can have powerhouse female comedians and they can be dealt with the same equality and respect?
I mean, I hope so. I still feel like it's still a
man's club.
Yeah,
it's
a
getting
boys'
there.
club, and even when you're in the clubs, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing man, and you're seeing man helping more men, and
or
so
men cracking gay jokes.
Yeah,
homophobic gay jokes.
Yeah. But I think we're on the right path. I mean, there's definitely been a lot of women in this business for a long time, whether people have acknowledged it or given them props. Maybe it's finally, I think, happening, but I still feel like we have a long way to go.
I started so late that I have no idea whether it's getting better or not. So.
Well, both of you guys, ladies, have such great reviews. I mean, people just love you and the stories you tell. And I think because you tell such real stories, like Shawn, you tell real stories from your life. You're not like, here's my bit and here's the punchline. It's like, this is who I am.
Yeah. I like to be raw, and I like to work off my feet a lot. And I've been fortunate. I've been able to travel around the world and doing comedy and in front of all types of people. I mean, when you look at like my fan base, it's a lot of gay men. But then you can turn around, and I've been in the trenches of Afghanistan and Kosovo and Bosnia, and I've been in war zones, and I've been on the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan, and I have. Really
did you see my cousins?
Yeah,
Were you like,
I did. But
that's Jaylen's cousin. I'm the Jew. Don't shoot.
Yeah, it's like that, Jaylen. I hid my face. I hid my Jew face very well. They all want to kidnap Streisand and take her, but I won't let them. I won't let them.
And I've done comedy in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Those are the trenches.
Yeah.
No, Santa Monica's a tough crowd because you've got all the artsy fartsy people and then all the 80 and over people. It's that's a tough crowd.
The worst worlds right there.
Yes. Now, Shawn, we got this from another comic, sent an email. Performing for the troops, you're performing in some of the scariest places with troops at the scariest point of their lives. How does that affect you building your set, so to speak? And what do you hear most from these troops overseas when you spend time with them?
Well, first I'd like to say that I went overseas years ago to go support the troops, but really I was a single lady. And, the odds were much better for me over there because it's hard to meet the right person in Los Angeles. But with that being said...
Grab him by the puppy.
Nice shot.
Oh, did you want me to be serious? Okay, well... What was the question again?
So, building a set for these men, obviously in a serious situation, do you change your set at all? How did that creative process go? And what did you hear most from the troops? What did they need most?
Well, I think, with the men and women over there, as any show that I do, I try, and whatever audience I'm in front of different audiences all the time.
You're very inclusive.
Right. So, again, with the background in improv that I have, it's just I try and work off my feet and cater to who I am in front of. So when I'm overseas and I'm in the troop scenario, when I went, they would say, okay, you are not allowed to make jokes about the president. At the time, it was don't ask, don't tell, was like, let's not do any gay jokes.
And the guys were like, Shawn, oh.
Right. Oh, I knew who they all were. They were the only ones who talked to me afterwards.
Just a look. You're like,
yeah.
Yep.
I didn't get any sex, but I collected 12 gay friends. So, but, I would just cater to what, I would get up in the morning, I would walk around the base, I would just observe everything that went on. And when it was go time, it's like, I would have free reign to pick on anyone I wanted to. And I would always find out if I had a 5-star general in the room, he was toast. I could be the only one that could make that attack. And it's in your favor to just,
and
get up
they
there
probably
and
love
do.
that. You're going after the people that are in
they
charge.
do,
The people
but
that they're all feeling about.
They were just the men and women, and they're very appreciative that you would go to not just, and I'm not talking like Kandahar or Bagram, these big bases that you see someone like Kathy Griffin fly in and then fly out to. What you would see is we would go to bases where there were, 40 men and one woman in the middle of nowhere who hadn't had anything, and people were appreciative. And what I saw and what I experienced there, it's an honor to be in front of the men and women there, and they feel comfort in talking about what they're going through, and I was just there to listen and hopefully make them smile for at least a minute, or sexually harass the Air Force in their hot onesies. I don't know.
I was waiting for it. I was like, here it comes.
Yeah. But dealing with the military, Jaylen, I binge watched 6, and now it's season 2. It really captured the whole camaraderie and the isolation that a team of Army guys have, whether they get along, whether they don't get along. That's your family, and literally you could lose your life next to somebody that you're stuck with. Just put in there, there's this like heaviness. Yeah. And what I found from 6, the show is very heavy. We see family life and we see you guys individuals and we see you the lighter side, but it's such a heavy subject. How did you guys go into it? Because I know you did a lot of training for it, and the filming must have been, you're like in with these guys in these high pressure environments, not just with the story, but when you do anything with special effects, when there's explosions, you better get your lines right, you better hit your mark, because anytime you mess up, it's another $20,000 to have to redo this scene in like a battle scene. How did you deal with that heaviness while enjoying the process too?
Well, first off, just to kind of go back to what you said, I want to applaud our writers and the creators of the show, because we are the only show on television that told both sides of the story.
Yes,
meaning
which I love.
They would show the war side, which a lot of viewers were like, let's see get terrorists. But then they came back to the home side and showed a lot of the challenges that these men are going through, these Navy SEALs, with the family reacclimating back to it. Some of them, from one of our characters in season 2, Alex Calder, played by Kyle Schmid, suffers a concussion from an explosion. And so he starts to have an addiction now to pills, and he has some brain bleeding, but he won't tell his team or his higher up. And that happens to a lot of these guys, because you work so hard to get there, and you work so hard to create. You're the brotherhood. You defend your guy right and left. And the thing is, if there's one little hiccup like that, they're off team. They're done. And so these poor guys, what they're going through, and women who've experienced this, that are maybe not necessarily in that branch, but in other military branches that are serving, that have experienced that, like, our writers are brave enough to show that. That's why the show feels so heavy. And so for us, when they put us through all the training, the boot camp we went through in season 1 and 2, season 1 especially was like a rude awakening. Like, I went in there like, oh yeah, I'm in shape, like, work out, doing CrossFit, like, it's cool, I can handle this. And the minute I showed up day 1, it's like, get your right, and I'm like, oh my god, like
You're like, I'm an actor.
I know. I was like,
where's my air conditioning trailer?
Like the network.
I let the red out of my mouth.
I was like, excuse me. The network was calling like every hour to make sure we were fine. I mean, they did. The network's like, he's like, they're alive, don't worry about it. But from like waterboarding ourselves in the ocean and holding and getting thrown in at midnight to God knows what time, and 20-mile hikes with 60-pound rucksacks and faces in the sand and toss off bunk beds, thrown downstairs with water pressure hose in your face.
So basically, it's Palm Springs Pride.
So that's what I was going to get to. I was like, basically, it's no, this is a WeHo Pride.
Yeah.
They're like, just so you know, the way we do things here is like the WeHo Pride. I'm like, sweet, I know that. It's really hard though, but no pun intended. But
well, it's so effective, and I mean, and you have a heavy hitter in season 1. You have Walton Goggins. Walton Goggins did the show during Christmas time.
Yeah.
You know, what an actor to bring this energy to him. Nobody realizes how tiny Walton actually is. Like, he's like a little guy.
He's a very petite man with the...
I'm sure he loves to be explained
No,
like
but-
that.
No,
Most men love to be called little petite men.
No, because he has such a friendly air.
Here's what I'm getting to. Walt, you look at Walt.
It's getting worse.
He's tiny in stature, okay? And so like in boot camp, like he any kind of training we did, he didn't go to boot camp, but after that he couldn't hold to us. However, the minute he came on a set, his energy and his performance and his concentration and what he does when Walton Goggins walks on a set, all of a sudden we become miniatures and he becomes this giant. He is phenomenal, and I learned so much working with him in season 1.
I love 6 because it had your well-known actors and then it had up-and-comers, which I love to see that on TV. You know how we talk about what actors should be cast, and there was such a great fresh energy about this. What was your audition like?
That was very unconventional the way it happened for me, actually. I missed the whole 6 Hurricane over here that most people got to go to, like auditions and screenings and testing and all that. And for me, I got in through, I have 2 agents, one in LA and I had one also in the South. And she said, you know what, they're filming in Wilmington and they're doing like a regional hired thing, but I know you're an LA actor, but can you put yourself on tape for this recurring character? Which was the role of Buckley, and I'm like, I obviously don't like a guy named Buckley from Texas, but I'll be the token guy, and I'll throw it in there because the casting directors, Finn Cannons, were fans of mine from my work. So I did the audition, and at 13 pages of sides, less than 24 hours to do it, and I just took risks, changed a lot of stuff up. My wife is a writer and a comedian as well, and she's like, babe, like Academy Award winning Bill Broyles and David Broyles and Bruce McKenna, like these guys wrote. You're changing. I'm like, I'm not gonna get it. They look like a Buckley to you. I'm like, but I really want this show, so I'm just going to take a risk.
To do something like that.
So I took a huge risk, threw it all on tape, and Bill Broyles changed my life. He saw that tape, and he told me, he called back, and he told my agent, he said, first of all, what ethnicity is he? And she said, I know his dad's from Afghanistan, and his mom's Spanish. And he said, is his dad Muslim? And she goes, I think so. And he goes, well, I think it'd be a great idea. We needed to add a new character. He's not going to get this guest star. We need to add a new character to the show. And it was going to be a Native American, but instead we're going to do the first Afghani Muslim Navy SEAL on television. Do you think he'll want to do that? She goes, I'm pretty sure.
Let me check. Yes.
No, never mind.
No, also, yeah, she called me. She's like, do you want to be the first Afghan Muslim Navy SEAL on television? I'm like, no.
Like, I'm going to inhale test fans of AIDS at 3.
I know. So that literally by taking that risk on tape, he said, I saw something about you. I knew I had to have you. And that showed David, which was his son, the co-creator, and then Bruce and everybody else. And they created the role for me. And that's what happened, and it's changed my life forever, man. I'm forever grateful to them for that.
Let's take a look at a little trailer for season 2 of 6. Let's look at some of this energy that we are talking about.
The nation and the armed forces are in shock after the attack of former SEAL Richard Taggart. Officials have been studying the video, hoping to find clues to the shooter's identity.
We're gonna find whoever did this. And we're gonna make them pay. We're gonna find whoever did this. We're gonna put them in the ground.
Help me find him.
Oof.
Looks good.
Now let's look at a video at some of your gun training. I want that was the after, and this is the before. Look at those guns.
That is my cousin on Instagram. Too Alpha to Quit. He's a Green Beret.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I want to learn the real stuff, man, and I want to keep up on the skill that I've learned from the show and from the training that I did with the SEALs.
Have they had you shoot any missiles or anything like that?
Missiles, Shawn.
What
kind of missiles we talking
about? Because I got to shoot like a missile with the special forces.
How much did that cost the country?
I've heard you bombed in a few cities.
Yeah. I almost killed 30 special forces.
I know, dang.
Just no missiles, rifles and handguns. But thank you though. Yeah,
Stand by.
Yeah, I threw a grenade. Hey, catch this!
Look how excited Shawn is.
But look how intense this is. Like
That's
this
a lot.
is.
Yeah.
It's like you're in character while you're.
Feel it. As soon as I put that mag in, it wasn't seated properly.
Like, you have to know your stuff.
Because your cousin's next to you and he's an actor.
I called him out. I said he's getting nervous because his cousin's next to him.
The actor got a little speed on him.
That's great. That was fun.
And the funny thing is, you actually came from musical theater. You were like in Greece, right?
Yeah. That's another.
Hello. Yeah. Go
when
Greece,
when I saw
bang,
the
bang.
movie The Greatest Showman, I was so mad that my team didn't get me in for that audition.
I was mad after watching that movie for a different reason.
Boom. I love it. Musical theater. You know, that's always gonna be in my heart, and I look forward to seeing where my career unfolds, and hopefully get some opportunities. I can get up there and have fun, you know, sing and dance and act.
I got this question for you from actually a cast member from Sons of Anarchy who has done some guest work. Working with a group of guys like that. We've heard like working with a group of gays, and the stereotype is when you work with a bunch of women, it's a cat fight. What was it like working? Because you guys all have to be macho in your own way. How was that like working behind the scenes and building the chemistry? Were there any divas on the set? Was there any friction?
The boys and I, all the SEALs, I'll tell you this, after you experience shared pain, as I call it, that boot camp, it checks you. We saw each other's breaking points, and we saw each other's threshold to victory, right? And so everybody had a respect for everyone, and therefore you have 6 alphas that are brothers. We never argued. We never fought. If there was an issue, one felt comfortable coming up to the other going, hey, man, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks for bringing that attention. Done. Boom. Let's go have a beer. It was amazing. And I was like, everybody needs to go to SEAL Fit. Everyone needs to go to, even corporations should send their team building.
Are you kidding? I can't even get to LA Fitness. Crazy?
I can't even get to North Hollywood.
Oh my God.
So, fortunately, it was one of the best experiences I've had in my life thus far in my career, because it's real. We're all like, bro, I have a thread, the 6 of us, it hasn't stopped for 3 years. Every day, even when we're on hiatus, things are just banging off, whether it be jokes or this or funny Instagram videos or life or kids or whatever. And so it's been really a pleasure to be able to create that kind of bond with the cast, because I never had that with any other show I've done or film.
Now, bringing this back to the LGBT community, dealing with all these macho characters, and I had this conversation with Martin Kove, who was in Karate Kid and Rambo.
Marty's a friend of mine. He said hello, by the way, today. I saw
we
him.
loved when Marty came because he was so down to earth, and he talked about a musical idea he had when he was in 6th grade. But we were talking about this 80s Macho Man style movies, and now, you know, LGBT issues and equality is a part of it, so characters have to be soft to be politically correct now. How does that deal with roles like in 6, roles that you usually get cast to play? How do you think that meshes with this idea of the feeling type of person and changing kind of a genre? I love the Rambo films. I love the boom boom,
Those
kill
are the
them up,
best.
whatever.
I love them.
But now we're told like that's insensitive to certain groups. Do you think there's a happy medium between being sensitive in Hollywood but still having these kind of macho guy?
Yes, I think I think if to be honest, I think if people stop being so damn sensitive, to be honest, and if they just
from both sides.
From both sides. No, from both sides. From both sides.
Good luck.
I know. And if they would just look at whatever the story that's being told, if the character is written and telling the truth of what that character is in that timeline, in that genre, and its truth, then don't judge it. Let it be for what it is. You know what I mean? So Rambo, that's what it was back then in that time, right? And nowadays, sure. So if you're writing a story, let's say you're writing a story about somebody that's in the military, and maybe they're gay, maybe they're not, maybe whatever. None of that stuff should matter, to be honest. Show the journey of that character and that person and their heart and their failures and their wins, and that's all that really matters. You know what I mean? Like, I think we need to cut to the cord and get to the fact that everybody's human, right? And I have an expression I will say: I see no color, just human. I see no gender. I don't see gay, straight. Like, none of that matters to me. And whenever I see these arguments pop off about things on TV and in movie theaters and shows, I'm like, you know, if maybe we just take a step back. And with all the new shows going into development, just focus on being true to what your story is, what you want to tell, what that character is, and let it fly. Don't try to analyze and go, oh, they messed up, they should have done this, or oh, they should have done that, oh, I'm offended. Like, and sometimes I tell people, if you're offended, maybe look in the mirror and see why you're so offended. Because it's all about inside the heart, right? Things I've been to therapy. We all go to therapy. My therapist told me if something offends you, it has to do with something on the inside.
Fiona,
I mean, ask
give him
Fiona.
some therapy.
Fiona will tell you that.
Come on.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, that's right. And one of the things I wanted to say was that one of the things, the great things about America, making America great again. It already was.
Yes,
no,
the real one.
It already was
in a real way.
It already.
You know, those hats are going to double in price because of the Chinese tariffs. Did you hear about that?
It already was, but America already was
I love
great
that.
because it was a melting pot, and it's always been a melting pot. And the great thing about America, and one of the reasons I came here, is because it's so inclusive. I believe it is still very inclusive, except that now social media means that we see all the differences. We see all the people who are racist or prejudiced and so on, and we're more exposed to it. It was always there.
Yeah.
But the great thing was that we included it.
That's a good point. And people can hide behind their posts too.
One more thing I want to say about that in regards to roles, things like that. I think it starts with the writers. So a lot of these shows and movies and all these networks, they need to check themselves in a sense where, look, if you have a hit show or you're starting a new show and you're writing a very detailed character that maybe he's gay, maybe get a writer that understands that world. Don't get somebody that can imagine that, right?
Totally.
Get your
really good point.
That goes back.
Get your women in there.
Talking about the show Pose.
If I'm going to write a show and it has to do with, let's say, something to do with Israel and all this stuff, like I'll do my research, but you know what? I'm going to hire somebody that's from that world. You know, and the problem is a lot of these shows don't do that. They're not putting enough women in the writers' room. They're not putting enough
executives
gay,
are
straight.
like, give me a lesbian show tomorrow.
Well,
it's like, okay, let's write what we
You need real writers that have experienced that to tell these true stories, whether the show is fiction or nonfiction. I think that, and like for me, coming from an Afghani and like Spanish Latino background, for the Afghan side, for the longest time, for years, I've watched Hollywood just completely decimate the name of how Muslims really are, and this, and I'm like, that's not how it is. And finally, it's starting to slowly shift, especially with the character that I get to play on 6. You know, and so I really think that it starts with the writers, and I really encourage all networks, producers across the board,
create
get
real
the right
characters.
Writers.
Create
the
real characters.
Yeah. Correct.
From people who know those characters.
Right. Stan Zimmerman has done the show a number of times, and he was a writer. It was his very first major writing job in season 1 for Golden Girls. There was only 2 gay writers on the whole team. They still couldn't talk about themselves being gay, but they wrote the gayest show in history, right? But they couldn't even
be real,
be out and all that, so they had to sneak in all their humor with the jokes that now we get, but back then, you know.
And why it's still.
And so let's talk about filmmaking and storytelling, Billy. You know, we've been friends for quite a while, and I love everything you do, from your documentaries to your travel series Underground on here. Your parody films capture the Bette Davis films to a T. But your latest project was pretty heavy. When you told me about it, I was like, ooh, that's a big undertaking. Why don't you explain what A Long Road to Freedom is?
Well, it truly is. It all started with a particular instance that happened in 1966, New Year's Eve. And this is what charged me to do this actual thing. And before anybody came on board, it was just me sitting there going, after that person became our president, I was like, what can I do? What can I do? I'm a filmmaker. What can I do to say something, to do something that could be positive? And one of the biggest things I always feel is we got to show where we came from. We need history. We need history to understand what happened so that we can know where we can go or what kind of cycle we've been in, because it's always in a cycle, right? So I had heard about this one particular instance that happened in Silver Lake, right here in Silver Lake, which is right down the street where I live, where New Year's Eve there was a raid, which is very common during the time. Gay bars were always raided. In this particular moment, though, there was 6 undercover cops. They waited until midnight so that the guys could kiss each other. They went and started beating the hell out of them until spleens broken. I mean, there was just like, it was a casualty. It was like an attack. It got.
Why would they do? How can you do that?
It was the time. It was the time.
And that's funny. Our culture now, if there's a cover at a club, I can't go to that club. People were risking their lives to go to clubs.
People were risking their lives to go to clubs at that time. It was like they were risking to be alive.
Yeah.
Because you could be kicked out of your home, you could be thrown out of your job, and you could be killed or beaten when you were in a club. And who knows on the streets, right?
Sure.
Because the reason why clubs were so important for gay people in the past is because that was the only place you could create a family. So you would go there, and those were the people who all accepted you, and it was you would walk through that door, and all of a sudden it would be a moment of, I can be myself. Because outside, nowhere. Your parents have already thrown you out. It was the whole thing. So these people are brave to try to become themselves, at least as they walk through that door. That evening, they were beaten to death, basically. So there was this whole thing called Pride that was happening at the time. It was a whole group of people, and they called it Pride. That's where Pride came from. I can't tell you what that means right now off the top of my head. I've had this. But
you had too much water.
I had too much water. They all got together, and they said, we can't be silent anymore. We can't just sit here and let them kill us. And 2 months later, and it took a while, and they created a protest, a protest that the only person that I did find who was alive, who was there, was this man named Alexei Romanov. He's about 87 years old, and he spoke, and he said there were 400 to 500 gay and lesbian and allies there protesting in front of the Black Cat 2 months later. No one knows that this happened.
Oh, wow.
Because no one was there to write about it. So here it was, the first time we know at all that there was a protest. And this is what I heard about. And I said, no one knows this. We need this information. We need to know where these people came from. And we knew, and also the biggest thing that I came out of, and I'm going to jump all the way of what I came out of my film after a year and a half of been working at it, sitting in front of this computer where, you know, and running out and doing interviews in New York and San Francisco and here, and then coming back to my computer, is that I realized is that these people had nothing. So they had nothing to lose, and they went out and they fought, and they fought, and they fought, and they fought, and look at the amount of gain they've had since 1960. It took 50 years, but the amount of gain. Right now we are in a time of overwhelming feeling like everything is coming down on us. The gay community feels like everything is falling apart, and we're in a space where it's possible that everything could be ripped apart on what we just gained. And we need to understand that we have amazing allies. We have money, because there are rich gay people.
And we dress so well.
Most importantly, you dress so damn well.
There is a whole different sense about who we are and what we can do. And we must understand that we, to try not to be so overwhelmed and understand we have power. And that we can fight through this. And we can be along with our allies. And as long as we also add women's rights, all the different genders, shall we, trans, all of that, we color, everything, that we're all in the exact same boat, and that we all walk along. And this is the end of my movie, is all about that.
That's great.
So people leave this film, and they understand that we all have a part to play in this, and that we all can play a part, and we can actually overturn everything that's happening because of it.
Let's take a look at the trailer for A Long Road to Freedom.
Not starring me anymore.
No.
Nope.
The first copy of The Advocate, September of 1967, a Pride publication.
The Advocate has always been there.
It was called the Pride Advocate.
The Advocate is no longer fringe.
Getting to marriage equality was extraordinary.
We have to tell people we're not going away. This issue is part of society. It's part of humanity.
When we win rights just for one couple, we have expanded rights for many others.
We still live in a nation where you can still be fired or kicked out of your home legally for being an LGBTQ person.
I hope people understand that they are going to be called upon to fight.
We're not finished yet until the whole world understands what human rights means.
We are here and we are queer and we ain't going nowhere.
Can't wait to see this on Thursday. You know, it's so funny. For the last two shows, I've had all straight people in the studio. Kurt was so excited. He was like, no. No, but it's so funny because we're getting back to it. But I'm like, is our message too overexposed? Is it too aggressive?
No.
The gay community? I think that we've got to be louder and stronger.
There's a lot of erasure going on right now. I mean,
I love that band.
Bill, you just dated yourself.
Oh, there he goes. There he goes.
They don't even use erasers like at school anymore. They're just like.
Look at Pride Month again. You know, June. It's been the regular for how many years now that they announced that it's Gay Pride Month, and it's just very. Yeah. I mean, they didn't even put something in the spot where it was. They left it like purposely blank.
It's just kind of like, just think of what Maxine Waters, and I'm sorry, I love her.
Reclaiming my time.
I love her.
It's such a great remix, by the way. Look up the remix.
I just say reclaiming my wine.
I love that. And how she just recently said, she says, okay, you're sitting in a meeting, somebody says, oh, you pulled out the black card, the African American card. And she says, excuse me, you pull that damn card out. That's your strength. That's it, and push it. Keep on pushing it until it doesn't matter. It's the same with our gay card. It's the same with our Muslim card. It's the same. It's the same. We've got to be strong and loud right now.
If not, your family might get taken away.
Exactly.
I like what you said, though. You're saying, I like how you said, push it until it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Like, get to a point where it just becomes like that. That's kind of what I was talking about. I was like, I pray we get to a day where just none of this will matter anymore.
There won't be any push. No more push.
No more push. Just be.
I'm ready to light torches now.
She's like, I'll take off my bra. Like, we're not there yet.
Oh, no, you don't want to see that.
This does have to go back to the concept of what you said about that movie with Johansson. Is that at this moment in time, I believe we have to choose someone who truly represents who that person is. And it can be, mind you, just for her backing away, we could possibly find somebody out there who's the most amazing actor possible.
Where are
that
they?
can blow you. We don't know yet.
They're not on pose.
They don't need to be an A-list actor. That's the thing.
I'm not saying.
I totally disagree with you. If I'm an investor and if I'm a major motion picture distributor, I want as many people to see this film as
did they
possible.
say that about people that used to do blackface back in the day?
I mean,
we don't want to get a real black actor because we have so many blackface. You know, like, it's the same concept. You have someone that's transgender. That you know what I mean? Like they need that visibility right now.
Right.
They do need that visibility.
At this moment in time, we need the representation of what that. And what if we find an actress out there that just freaking blows us away, and they can fill the whole movie with names. That's what they do. You can get your main person, get someone who's new, fresh, and you fill it with names. People are going to see it. I have the same problem with some of the films.
Great, so give me a list of names. I'm ready to write it down.
He's right.
Well, I mean, okay, Meryl Streep, I can understand, great actress.
She
but
needs to take 5 years off, by the way.
Johansson, like, who
Girl,
cares?
She's actually one of the women that I would switch for because she is so sexy, and I think she's so good.
She's sexy too.
It's not that, but I just don't think she's the greatest American actress. So if she is pushed aside, maybe
but she's
there will be a
popular
new
with
talent.
the youth that we want to see this story.
But I think people could step forward. I mean, think of all the no names. There was some person that stepped forward, and they were the breakout person.
Doesn't want that.
Let me tell you this. I've spoken to transgender people before, and the issue is not just the visibility being on screen and having their characters' stories being told. It's having someone that's playing that role that they themselves can look up to. There's such a disparity between seeing someone play, a transgender woman on TV, and then they're on that red carpet as a man, back as a man, and it's just the disparity of that doesn't actually represent.
I think I felt it.
Yeah, like it doesn't have.
And I don't want to go off on this tangent because
look at this.
I don't mean
on the rocks,
but look like Adam, like the boys from the Olympics right now. Like there's so many kids right now that are they're looking up to them that are like
because they're the best athletes right now.
But not just
they're
that.
not playing they are.
But not just that. They are the best.
Who would have seen Transparent with Felicity Huffman and Felicity Huffman wasn't in it and it wasn't given award nominations.
They're transparent.
But people saw that movie. Everybody knows what that movie is.
That was the beginning of this whole process.
So, Alex, you're just saying you hope they find an actor of the same caliber and or higher for that role.
And
it's just not there yet.
The issue in the community is that they have not even attempted to have them in the room to have the opportunity.
That's the biggest thing is let them get the auditions.
They haven't even
and
had
have the writers in the room.
Let's face it. If Barbara Streisand dies and they don't call me, I'm pissed.
I'm pissed too.
Can you say?
Obviously.
All right, so let's take a breath.
I want to do a musical.
Fiona, you brought up a very interesting point about how we're talking so loud. What can American comedy learn from British comedy?
Oh, I could be very facetious now, couldn't I?
Girl, take it away.
Make it funny.
No, you like. Oh, that was some shade.
That was unkind.
Boom.
That was British shade, and it's not like a shade. It's just like. It's like a British gust. It's not shade.
I don't think that Americans should learn from the English or vice versa. I think that American humor is American humor, and it's very funny in its own way, and how great that we have all these differences, that we're all different.
Who's funny in your mind? Like when you watch TV, like what's funny on TV or
Sarah Silverman, Tig Notaro, Tracy Ullman, though she's English.
These are people with a bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I love dry humor. So I mean, I'm sitting here with a completely blank face. You know, that's what I do.
So am I, but it's the Botox.
Just a constant look of judgment.
Yeah.
How about
Do you watch Schitt's
American
Creek?
Men?
Do you watch Schitt's
Who
Creek?
do you like out of the American Men?
Out of the American Men.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry.
Oh shit.
You know,
curious.
Nick,
talking
give me
about
some,
Schitt's
like-
Creek,
My
Eugene
favorite-
Levy to me is
my
so
favorite
hilarious.
show. And the,
Eugene
what's
Levy's
her
fun,
name?
yeah.
What's the woman? I always forget her name.
Catherine O'Hara?
Catherine O'Hara.
She's
brilliant
great.
comedian.
But she's
Right,
so
brilliant.
dry
Oh
in
my
her
God.
delivery. She's not like,
Dry.
I'm funny. She's very dry.
Brilliant.
Shawn, I got this from another comedian, happily married, and this is kind of a two-prong question. Do you, because we know that being a comedian is like who we are. Like sometimes your friends will be like, you know what, tone it down, you're not on the show. It's like, well, no, this is who I am. But there's also that expectation. Being at home with your husband and like always being like the funny one, does that affect the relationship a little bit? Sometimes does your husband say like, calm it down?
Is he like, babe, shut up?
Are you like on a lot? Or there's
Yeah.
a moment where you're just
First
like, I'm
of all-
so not on right now.
Okay,
Do not talk
first
to
of
me.
all, I love this topic because my husband is a quiet Brazilian man, so which is kind of
Quiet Brazilian?
Yeah,
Where did you
yes.
find him?
Right, he's like Marcel Marceau, the Brazilian, and he hates that I even say that, but he's kind of reserved and quiet. But he does have these little asides that are really funny, and I actually call him the Brazilian hack, because what he'll do is he'll hear me say something once, whether it's aside, we're watching a show, or he sees me on stage, and then he takes it for his own. And when he's in front of a group of people talking, he does it as if he came up with it. So
Smart guy.
I think that we're yin and yang. He appreciates what I do. Yes, I'm loud, I'm out there, and every now and then he's like, "Oh, stop it! You talk so much." Be quiet, you loud Jew. But
He
He had a T-shirt made that said, "Be quiet, you loud."
yeah, be quiet, you loud Jew. I'm like, what does my Judaism have to do
That's
with
the
it?
name of your next special.
Be quiet, you loud
That's
Jew.
you.
that would be
That
brilliant.
totally is. Wait, speaking of your special, because I'm curious about this, because I've seen many shows over the years, and I know that the way that when you've done your shows in the past, you've been able. What you do is you utilize the audience, but now with your special that's coming out, now it's like you get to take in the reins and do whatever you want to do for yourself.
Well,
So,
actually,
like,
for my hour special, I didn't really go into the audience like I usually do. When you get your first hour, it's like, okay, here's my material. This is what I'm doing, and a couple things are off the cuff. And I have the pianist from the Comedy Store, who's world famous, Jeff Scott. He's in the special with me, and he's on stage,
He's
kind
great.
of playing off
Have
the
you seen
cuff
him?
sometimes.
No.
So that's
Nice.
where I can kind of work off my feet. But for the most part, this was material that I developed over the years and just pushed it forward, and that's the way I worked.
Right.
When can we see this special?
It comes out on August 21st.
Are you going to have like a release party?
Huh?
Yeah.
A
This is
release
great.
party.
Yeah.
I'm so there.
Can we do a big
Yeah,
release?
why not?
Yeah.
Jaylen and
Where
I
do
will
we
be
see
there.
this?
Do
We'll be
a
there.
release party.
Release party. I haven't even gotten. I can barely leave my house.
We'll have it at your house.
That'll be the release party.
Yeah, it'll be available.
Just
on
like 30 days will show up at your home. You'll be like, what is going
30?
on?
It'll be like, oh, it's Tuesday's Big Brother on.
30.
I know, but I was
Try
running.
20,000. I know a lot.
Yeah, where can we see it?
It'll be available. It's going to be. It's being released by Comedy Dynamics, who releases a lot of comedy specials. So it starts off on iTunes, Amazon,
Nice.
On Demand, Xbox, Google Play. I don't know. There's just
Great.
like a list of all these streaming in these forms, and then the album will be released on SoundCloud,
That's the new
Pandora. You'll hear it on Sirius Radio,
That's awesome.
iTunes, and that'll be released August 24th. Oh, thanks, Jaylen.
Proud of
Very
you.
sweet.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Very
Good for
sweet.
her.
Yeah.
That's
Jaylen,
great.
I'm so sad. I actually missed it. I was very, very sad. I missed her show. I wasn't able to go to the live taping of it.
We're gonna do like a screening party.
Yeah, we need to.
Basically,
Yeah, her
we're
place with
gonna do
her
that, yeah.
hot Brazilian husband.
We're gonna show up or not show up, but we're still gonna have it.
Be quiet, you loud Jews.
Jaylen, this is such a funny story about one of your first auditions. You were everybody
boy.
had like professional headshots, and you walked in with your senior photo.
Yes, yes.
Oh my God.
There was a casting. I was in. I grew up in California, in Oakland, but I moved to Omaha, Nebraska for my last couple years of high school.
sorry.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, my dad worked for Kellogg's. They shut down, but I played sports, so I fell right into the system. There, it was great. But yes, there was an audition, open casting call for this teen soap opera. One of the writers from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
yeah.
Tari Robinson. So I'm like, oh, so my older sister who stayed in California by then, she'd moved out. Helped me type up like a resume with like musical theater background and stuff. And I was like, I don't have like a headshot. She's like, oh, just take something. So I took my little, it was a wallet senior pictures we had back in the day with a paper clip on this big ass resume. Well, this big paper with like a little bit of a resume, right?
Yeah.
And I show up and there's all these people from like Chicago, Texas, like everyone drove in to Nebraska and headshots this. And I'm sitting there. Everyone's like, oh, what are you going for? I was like, oh, I'm here, you know. Yeah, this is mine. And I went in there, and they're like, headshot. I'm like, here you go.
Portrait.
and literally, she goes, oh, my God, this is so adorable. Look at this. And I couldn't tell if they were making fun of me or if she really genuinely liked it. But I was like, whatever. And I did my thing, and I ended up booking the lead.
Well,
it was hilarious.
see there.
But this is
It
part
didn't
of your
matter.
story.
It worked.
And
Yeah.
this is part of your story, and this is what I want to tell. We have a lot of
talent
entertained
spoke
people.
for itself.
Right. We have a lot of talent that listens to the show. And you did that, and then you had where you were like a physical therapist. You also worked at Olive Garden and Rainforest Cafe.
I worked
but
at Olive Garden.
Oh my God!
Can you do the Can you do the song?
No, I didn't work at Olive Garden. But I love that he said that.
Oh, did I
no,
just
my
out
wife
myself?
loves to eat at Olive Garden. And that is phenomenal. We have
Just
to go.
for the unlimited soup,
really
salad, and
excited.
breadsticks.
Hold on.
She's a Jew. She's like, I'm gonna put them in my
Just wanted to
purse.
include that.
She didn't even work there.
Free bread.
Cafe is correct,
Just
but
walked by.
let's just pretend I worked at Olive Garden. And Leah, let's sing that song, Sean. How does it go?
From the pasta we make to the lasagna we bake. Sorry.
That is kind of scary. That's your third comedy essential special.
But wait, Alex,
worked at Olive Garden
Welcome
once.
to Olive Garden.
What I heard though is that story was good, but I heard your story was better for an audition. I heard that you didn't have a headshot and you drew a picture
Oh, I
of
drew a
yourself.
stick figure, and I was like, have you gained some weight?
That is phenomenal.
Baker Square, that's what it was.
Baker Square, yes.
Yes. But I have to say is that you, and just like all of us in this industry, have to keep working and working and working. So many young people in the industry don't realize that you have to keep working. If you have to work at Baker Square, if you have to, do a show in a hole in the wall, or you have to write for a game show and kind of tone it down, this is what
we
you
didn't
have
tone
to
it
do.
down.
They toned it up.
I love the Lonnie Anderson win. Anyway, but this is like it's an entertainment industry. You
always
have to
gotta
work at
hustle.
it. It's
You gotta
not going
hustle.
to come easily, and that's what I love because you've mixed in so much of your personal life with your work, and I love that you're so open to LGBT themes, and I think this is the future of Hollywood, which is which
Yeah,
is
why
what we
not, man?
talked
We're all
about.
humans. That's all that matters. It's very simple.
Billy, to a young filmmaker coming to LA, and we know it's super hard unless you film your film on an iPhone. What are two things that are instrumental for an up-and-coming filmmaker that they have to do or keep in mind?
First of all, extreme passion. You've got to be so passionate, and you cannot be lackadaisical.
Being famous is not a passion, by the way.
No, it's not.
Wanting to be famous.
No, my passion is to continue to work. And I just keep on going, and I won't stop. I do not stop. I'm constantly thinking of the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. I've got, the amount of lists of ideas that I have in my bag are constant. And that's one of the things that I try to do. I actually have a young guy from Brazil that I have under my belt.
This is the family show. Remember,
Who happens to be married to Shawn Pelofsky.
Tell us more.
You haven't seen him this
Tell
whole
us
time.
more. Hold on, I'm unbuttoning my pants. Tell me more.
somebody wants a green card.
Does anyone want a green card here anymore?
We're going to Britain or we're going to Canada.
I'm going to Australia.
So
See you in Australia.
this kid
You've
came
been to
here to
Australia.
become a filmmaker, and he went to LACD. What is that? What is the LA?
LASD.
LAVC.
What LASD?
Who cares? He's Brazilian.
What's the one anyway?
LASC.
The local. No, just the
LA City College, LACC.
LA City College.
They do so much for the community, by the way.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
And he took some classes there, and I met him through that. And I brought him in on 3 of my projects already, and I will continue to do it because I said one of the main things is you've got to do everything. You've got to go and ask to be on a set and do anything that you can to be watching and eating up. And if they like you, I mean, I'm that way, is that all of a sudden, if you are working your ass off and we see you're working your ass off without one complaint, I'm sorry, you cannot complain. Ever. And you just keep on pushing. Somebody's going to notice you, and they're going to go, hey, well, why don't you do this? And slowly you're going to start working your way up. And it's really been fun because I watched him, and it's only been 3 projects that I worked with, and one of them was this. He'd helped me do all the recreations in the documentary. Is that I saw such a different. He also did the Lonnie Anderson web series, and he was so amazing. The Lonnie Anderson one was the last thing I did. A couple
with
months
Mad
ago.
TV's Deborah Wilson. Who I'm
Yeah,
obsessed.
exactly.
You're bringing her to the show, right?
Yeah, definitely. And
yeah.
Ray Dong Chong was in it. And that's the reason why I did it. I'll work with them because I looked at the script and I'm going, oh, this is interesting. But I said, I'll work with them.
P.S. Lonnie Anderson hasn't aged.
No, she's
ever.
amazing, and she's so together and so right on. You know, it was very exciting to work with her. I've already written a short for her. She doesn't know about it, but I'm going to send it to her anyway. So that's my thing is just show up, keep on pushing, find out where you can be, ask to do anything because you've got to watch, you've got to observe, and you've got to keep on pushing. You got to have that passion and that drive. Because otherwise, you're sitting at home, right, and just thinking that it
anything
might come
within
to you
reason, right?
does
Yeah.
not.
Well, yeah,
of course. I'm not talking. But sitting at home,
Jaylen, I have a list of ideas for you.
Anything. He said anything. What do you want me to do?
Sitting at home thinking someone's going to call you never happens.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
All right, so we have to finish up so Kurt doesn't have an aneurysm. He can go home to his wife, and we can make everybody happier. So we finish the show with rapid fire. So everybody has to answer 5 questions. They're very simple questions. It's nothing too deep. And then tell our listeners where they can find you and all your outlets. So who wants to go first?
And the rules about it is that it's rapid fire.
Fiona.
So you don't need to embellish.
I think
you don't need to explanation.
Okay.
Fiona needs to go first.
All right, suddenly you're picking on me. I've been sitting here very quietly.
That's why I'm saying she needs to go first.
A good radio guest.
we didn't even get to talk about like the worst British teenager, by the way, which I want to talk about next time.
Fun.
Part 2, Fiona.
Part 2.
Okay, the strangest American custom / activity that you were like, what? Or you're still like, what?
Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's
the food.
Well, we had to eat when we left your people,
Yeah,
so
no,
I don't make.
Give us a break.
It was built up an appetite.
We were hungry.
and the football, all the brain damage from the football.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
There is a lot of brain damage.
But I love the booties that come out of football. Your celebrity crush?
Paula Poundstone.
Really?
That is the most random answer.
She was great, though.
Hilarious.
She's still alive.
Wonderful.
She's still alive.
No, she is still alive.
She is?
Yeah.
Yes, and she loves to
We
drink.
haven't seen her lately.
Legally, she can't.
That doesn't mean she's not out there still working.
That's a very interesting.
Yeah, it's maybe not the look I'm going for. It's just
energy.
Okay, so for looks, who's your celebrity crush?
Oh, celebrity crush. Sandra Bullock.
Oh, she is
She's
gorgeous.
lovely.
And she doesn't age.
Doesn't age either.
Yeah.
No.
Fiona, you're stranded on an island with another comedian.
Right.
Who is it? Living or dead?
It's you. You.
No, I think you would get so annoyed with me. You'd be like, how big is this island?
As long as you have cocktails, you'll be fine.
Right.
We'd be making cocktails out of like crab meat.
I think
crab meat vodka.
Coconut.
I think Joan Rivers would be fun.
Until you write for her.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Who said that? Do you write for her? Oh.
Yeah. What would the name of your biography be?
A Very British Lesbian.
Yeah.
Very British.
Perfect.
I like
Perfect.
that.
If you could have lunch with any woman from history that has passed, who would it be?
Right. It would be there's 2 women in the 1800s in England who were lesbians, and they lived in an estate out in. They entertained the princes and the kings and everybody, and they were very brave, and yeah, those people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fiona, where can our listeners and viewers find you?
FionaGoodwin.com.
You have a great website, by the way.
Thank you.
It's everything you need.
And I look pretty, don't I?
Yes.
Yeah, almost not lesbian.
Not like Kurt.
And Fiona Goodwin on Facebook. And I also have a webpage on Facebook, A Very British Lesbian.
Yes.
Yeah.
So go like it, go follow, go see her touring show. Really.
Yeah, and I'll let you know when it's coming again.
All right. Will you smile if I come?
No.
Absolutely not.
All right. Who's next?
That's incredible. Well, you're looking at me, so my God.
All right, Jaylen.
He's like, who's next?
Yeah, we're moving along. It's
Yeah,
good.
you might as well
It's
go
good.
on.
Let's go down the line.
Oh, boy.
Order.
There we go.
As a muscle man, macho man, if you could go back in time and headline any major film, which one would it be?
Oh, shit. That's a big one. Predator. The old school one.
Yeah.
But I want a headline being the guy next to Arnold, because I just love Arnold in it. That'd be awesome.
Oh, interesting.
You're saying in the muscle world, because there's so many
I
other
said
movies.
you being a muscle guy. Like, would it be like, yeah, any film.
Any movie?
Any
Just
film.
like a lead man.
Yeah.
Leading man? Oh, my God. Wow. Oh, my God.
Mine would be Evita with Madonna.
That'd be phenomenal.
He said lead man, not lead woman.
Shocking.
Well, see, the movies I love, I don't know if my look would be that character. Like, for example, Braveheart's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It doesn't have to fit.
Freedom!
Yeah, Braveheart.
Okay, Braveheart.
Yeah.
And
I don't think you'd get pulled
Scarface.
over for doing...
Yeah. Braveheart and Scarface.
Scarface is being rebooted. Did you guys know?
Well, it's been rebooted for like 7 years now. I hope they just leave it alone.
But instead of Coke,
Just
they're
like
using
fizzle
Tic
out.
Tacs. It's
Diego
good.
Luna was going to be,
Jaylen, being such a fit person and such a part of your life and your wife's life, what is your guilty pleasure binge food?
These are good questions, man. I got so much.
Do you
Popcorn.
eat?
I do. No, well,
Popcorn. That's not a
pizza.
guilty pleasure.
exciting.
Weight Watcher says
do
you
you put
can
on it?
have a whole thing.
No,
What is
because
it
you don't
on it?
understand. Like, here's the thing: is
Oh my God!
I eat super healthy, but when it comes to like my weekends and I watch
Popcorn, I'm a big
movies,
girl.
it's like a big tub with like
I
butter.
thought we were going
and
to be
the
friends. You
goods
said
and the-
popcorn, the most boring food on the planet.
He's
It's
like
just
an,
because I
apple,
eat healthy,
an
man.
apple, kale,
Yes.
kale, lots of binging.
Oxygen is my guilty pleasure, and I take it by the bucketful.
Is pollution a car?
Oh, you know, I do love pizza. I love a good pizza. Good
You just
Italian
made that up. You
pizza.
don't even know what that means.
It's pronounced pizza. God, duh.
I'm dying. I love that he couldn't even. Oh, God. Okay. What is the last TV show? This is actually from a fan that you binge watched.
Stranger Things.
Oh,
Second
so
season.
good.
I watched all
So
two
good.
seasons.
Loved
and
it. Oh man, it was amazing.
I loved it.
Your biggest pet peeve as an actor, and it could be towards any aspect, from the director to the producer to the sound, lighting. What is
My
your
biggest pet peeve?
Yeah.
Anyone on set, especially actors who are ungrateful, not humble, who treat other people like shit, and who complain. I fucking hate it. Yeah,
That's
sorry.
a fine line. Sometimes
It sounds like you're complaining.
You're right.
He's like, I haven't complained about this show.
It just bothers me though, because when I see someone working and they're complaining or they're giving attitude to everyone else, I'm like, well, why are you here?
Just be appreciative.
grateful.
Wait a minute, though.
Yeah,
I've been on
Shut
set.
up
Be grateful that you're here and that you have work.
That you're working.
Totally agree, but I've also been on set where there's been no bottled water, and it's been hour 5 of doing take after take after take. I'm like,
that's understandable.
That's
That's within
Okay,
reason.
okay.
Yeah.
That's a very
That's
reasonable.
within reason.
Jaylen.
You got to be taken care of. We're not talking about that.
Right, and it's not a diva if you ask for like sustenance that human beings need.
Yeah.
Can I go to the bathroom?
No, that's fine. I just go in my costume. It's not my clothes.
Yeah.
Jaylen.
Let wardrobe clean it.
Yeah.
Black.
Oops.
Black always doesn't show anything.
Oh, I didn't. Would you gain 30 pounds and keep it on for 30 years for $5 million?
No.
Wow, $5 million?
No. Well, that's nothing nowadays. You just said like 5
Oh,
billion.
because you just came from History Channel
right.
6. So
30
you're
years.
like, I made that in the reshoots.
And he'd do it on popcorn.
with extra
Popcorn is so funny. I
That
get
was
like
the first thing that popped in my head. You said rapid fire.
I get like deep fried Oreos, and you're like, popcorn? The only food that Weight Watchers is like, go at it.
like a small baby.
Kernels pop by hot air.
Been a lot of head air.
The best was oxygen. That was hilarious.
Jaylen, where can our listeners and viewers find you for dieting tips?
Popcorn.com. No. On Instagram, it's Jaylen, Jaylen 1118. That's my birthday, November 18th. I'm a Scorpio, so holla, Jaylen 1118. On Twitter, it's Jaylen_more. I don't know why I got excited about that, but I just said it.
I have to say, your social
I'm
media is
kind of
really
excited about
like
it,
it
too.
should be
Yeah.
simpler. It should
You know,
be
I'm into
Jaylen
that.
Moore.
I
This is
tried
how
that.
humble you are.
Scorpio.
You're like, all you Jaylen Moores before without a TV show, I'm going to be 11892765.
Yeah.
What are you in Les Miserables?
Someone took Jaylen Moore. I couldn't get it.
Did you just say
Jaylen 1118.
Did you just recite pi?
Shawn Pelofsky.
24601.
That's what I want to be exactly. Oh, and then on Facebook, I have a fan page, official Jaylen Moore. Yeah.
Yes,
So
and thank you. Honestly, thank you so much. Your
Thanks
energy,
for having me. I appreciate it.
being so inclusive and everything. Sean, we know you've been
Yes.
inclusive since the womb. So
Hello.
Sean, you're next.
Okay.
A past comedian you would want to sit down and have to write a show with,
Well, I would say a one who's passed.
living or dead.
Bette Midler.
Yeah, done. 100%.
Oh,
you
yeah.
guess have the same energy.
Oh my God, totally.
Yeah, I can see that. What piece of advice would you give yourself at age 18?
Be skinnier.
18-year-olds are
Don't eat.
skinny by nature.
Just popcorn.
Too much popcorn when you're a kid.
Nothing on it.
It's all that butter.
A lot of double features there.
Jaylen gave me a conscience.
Right?
Stop
we're all
eating,
like,
fatty.
we're all holding our stomach and we're like,
200 points on Weight Watchers.
sponsored by Orville Reichenbacher. He's now at his dream weight because he's been dead for years.
Oh my god.
Shawn, who would play you in a movie in your life besides yourself?
I would
age appropriate.
I would say either Sarah Jessica Parker or Blossom.
She didn't even go with her real name. That's the best part.
She's only been on one of the top hit shows, Big Bang Theory, for years, but she's still Blossom.
It's like Mayim Bialik or something.
Yeah, it is. Worst date ever?
Worst date ever. I was with a guy who I was set up with, and they told me he was Jewish, and we had gone out once, and then he told me he had surgery, and he was actually a Scientologist. Cut to the next day, he said, "Can you take me back to the doctor?" He didn't tell me what the surgery was, and it was an ass doctor, and so I drove him to the doctor and then drove him back home with his bleeding asshole.
Implants?
Is that weird? Is
It
that
sounds like a
uncomfortable?
Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm episode.
Yeah.
Wait, but why'd you drive him?
Because he asked me, and I didn't know what
She's
to
so
do.
nice. Who would do that?
Oh my god, that's
another show.
The
ass who drove me. No, the ass who drove me.
There's definitely a lot of follow-up questions for that one.
All right. If you could have, here we go. Now be very honest.
Okay.
Most overrated funny film.
God, most overrated funny film.
That's hard.
Yeah.
I can figure it out.
Overrated funny.
Well, you also have to be PC because we're, but I don't want you to be.
It's a setup. Be careful.
Gosh.
Yeah, it is.
Any Adam Sandler film.
I was about to say it. Bring it on, Adam Sandler.
Yeah, there's a lot of those ones, aren't there?
One after another.
Yeah, I'm trying to think overrated funny that I didn't find funny.
Probably Amy Schumer or something.
Yeah, no, I didn't find. No.
The Hangover?
I thought she was.
The
funny.
No, The Hangover was funny.
The Hangover
was funny.
But like,
Look, she thinks everything's
I
funny.
thought The
Give her
Hangover
another
was the
question.
documentary. By the
I
way,
don't think everything
there.
is funny, but I'm trying to think of
Last year.
of what I think wasn't funny.
Oh, I thought. Oh,
I could
that's
tell you,
interesting.
I could tell you a film that I didn't like. Like I didn't
Yeah, okay.
like most overrated film, Birdman.
With Michael Keaton.
Hated it. I wanted
He
to
basically
bludgeon
played
my
Batman
eyes
without
out.
the costume.
Okay, this just took a dark turn. No, we're talking about
Yeah.
comedy, okay?
Yeah.
I like Birdman.
I hated Birdman.
Sean,
I think it was a comedy.
We didn't get it.
Sean, I'm so sorry. Michael Keaton's working. He's parking cars. When you go back to your car,
he's actually your valet.
Yeah, so
I
sorry.
like Michael Keaton.
He works
I
at Baker
just
Square as a server.
hated
You didn't know that?
Birdman. Hated it.
Yeah. Okay. Where can our listeners and viewers find you?
You can find me not watching Birdman, and you can find me also. My website is hahachick HAHACHICK.com, and you can find me on all the social media at Shawn Pelofsky ShawnPelofsky, and you can catch me weekly at the world famous Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Can we do an On the Rocks outing where we come?
Yeah, can we come do it? Like,
Yeah.
how do you come see you?
Anytime.
What nights are you there? Do you have a set night, or you just
No,
float
it's just
Okay.
during the week.
Let us know.
Great.
Let's do an On the Rocks where we have our viewers all come and meet us and celebs and all that. Let's do that. Yeah?
Would love it.
Sean's like, I don't want you
No,
anywhere near
I
my
would
stage.
love it. Not true.
Sean's like a.
You're
she's-
gay.
she's-
I want you
she's like
very
a-
close to
She's
me.
a comedy
Who said
store
I was
expert.
gay? I never once said I was gay.
Oh shit.
Well, you're a comedy store expert. You did like all 3 rooms the other night.
I did.
Yeah, what was that
How
called?
do you
Because
all-
you actually
I'll work
named
it.
it.
All 3 rooms. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's called
there's
the
3
hat
different
trick
rooms.
when they put
That's
you
a hat
on in all
trick.
3 rooms.
Yeah.
It's
Girl,
rare.
I stalk
that
you on
happens.
Instagram, by the way.
Oh well, stop it. I'm going to be under your Carly Cape Fear after this.
If only the judge didn't take away my car. Billy, you're last.
Yes.
Certainly not least.
All right.
If you could make a biopic about any celebrity who has passed, other than Montgomery Clift, of course, who would it be? It's got
Gosh.
rapid fire.
That's the only one I care
Did you say
about.
biopic? Did you mean biopic?
Yeah, he meant a biopic. A biopic.
Biopic.
Yeah, it's correct. That's another
Oh,
term to
sorry,
say.
white man. We have different accents.
Sorry, maybe I'm a little myopic then.
I'll make the 4th version.
He's like, what's a laundry?
No.
It's called biopic, right?
Yeah. No, it's
Biopic. Okay. You worked with Pauly Shore. Explain this.
Biopic you clean your teeth with, and
You know,
biopic
I always
is-
get that wrong.
I just take my teeth out
Both
to
are
get
kind of
cleaned.
correct. That's
Oh my God, that was so white of you, by the way. I can't even tell you.
Gosh,
That was very vanilla. That's true. Yeah.
I haven't even.
I mean, well, look at me.
Jaylen, can we ever go to like a straight bar and just like hang out?
Anytime. Gay bars are more fun though.
Your wife would be like, "It's fine, you're Alexander. I have no worries."
I think I'd want to. I really can't say. I don't know why. I haven't even thought
Really?
about it. I know, isn't that crazy? I have not thought about
do
doing
you
another.
pass?
No, there's no passing. I thought
There's
you
no
would have
passing.
said
I'll
Betty
figure it out.
Davis.
Betty Davis? Do I want to do a biopic on her? Okay, I'll do a biopic on Betty Davis. Isn't that weird? I've never
Yeah,
thought
that is
about
so
it.
weird.
I think it's because I'm so like focused on the one biopic that I want to do. It's really strange that I don't have that in my bag. But I'll do that. That'd be great. She deserves a good one besides The Feud. The Feud was wonderful, but I really loved it. But she does deserve something to be shown.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do that for you.
Thanks. Do I get to play Betty Davis?
Of course.
Take Fountain if you want to get to Hollywood.
Exactly.
What a dump. Okay. Your biggest director pet peeve, and this is a converse of like, what do your actors do that just drive you up the wall?
Tell me that they. What's their motivation?
Who says that anymore, though?
No.
Well, nobody really says
they
that.
ask
Shame.
you?
Shame.
When they'll pull me aside.
Yeah.
Oh no.
What's my motivation?
Oh.
And I have to sit there and I go,
Wow.
I didn't know that still happened.
oh.
I pull a director aside, I'm like,
And
craft services.
I should have
Where's the
hoped.
restroom?
I should have hoped that
Where's
they read
the
the
popcorn?
script, and that we had lots of communication, and we talked
Yeah.
a lot about the script, and we really actually already had filled that out. And I asked my actors, I said, go home and figure out who this person is. Give them a past if it doesn't have a past.
Well, it's our job,
Do all
that's what
that.
we do.
Yeah, give all this. I want to see this. I want to, But then someone comes, and you just see them like. That
Because they were told by their
exactly by whoever they were
acting.
taught from that's what you do.
Yeah.
And I do figure out a motivation for them. I make something up at
You're like,
the top. I just
your
whip it out.
motivation is
If you're
don't
not
get
good, you're
fired.
fired.
Exactly. And I'm always amused on what might come out of my mouth because it won't have anything to do with what's going on, but it'll get me what I want.
Billy, rapid fire. Just like,
What's your
guilty
motivation?
pleasure
Ice
film.
cream.
Yes.
Oh, what's up, Doc? I don't know. I don't think that's a real
What's
guilty
Up,
pleasure.
Doc is such a great.
It's my favorite movie. It's one of my favorite movies.
It set the precedent for that kind of.
Yeah,
it was Madeline Kahn's first film.
Oh my God, Madeline Kahn! Anything Madeline.
That's your guilty
Kahn.
pleasure film.
I don't really have. That's one of the things I watch.
He's
over
like,
and
I'm not
over
guilty.
again.
I'm not guilty.
I don't.
My guilty
terrible.
pleasure film is Blade.
I'm sorry, mine's Bring It On. So
Bring It On.
That is such a great guilty
It's also
pleasure
my
film.
favorite. So it's guilty and I think the best movie that's ever been.
Blade is mine.
Bring it on.
I love
Yes.
it. I
But
love
it's
that's
not
your
something
guilty
I'd
pleasure.
amazing.
watch.
Genius.
You
You have Elijah Dushku and
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst getting paid way too much just to show up because they're like, we're doing this now.
It's the best.
Girl.
Missy's the
I'm
Movie night.
terrible today. I'm sorry.
So take a big whiff.
Yes.
It's my favorite comedy of all time. So that I'll watch it over and over and over again. So maybe it's boring to other people that.
Okay, who would play you in a film?
Adam Lambert.
Oh.
I don't know why that's weird.
Wow. No, it's not
It's
weird.
the first that came to my
You're
head.
both cute.
Oh, you're very sweet.
One sentence you would say to a Trump supporter.
God bless you.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
One of the things that I'd say, I said maybe it's best we not discuss something that we can't find a place in the middle. I find that a lot of Trump supporters, and I've tried to speak, is that they won't have a communication. I had a recent one recently say, well, you've obviously got your head in the sand, you're not listening to what's going on, and you're not paying attention, and you're completely wrong. And when Clinton did that, I'm like going, what does this have to do with what just we were talking about?
You know what I would say to a Trump supporter?
What?
You're not my sister anymore.
Too close.
You guys have been so much fun.
My sister
Billy,
anymore.
where can people find you, and where can we watch A Long Road to Freedom?
Long Road to Freedom, of course. Thursday. Everybody who can, please come out to the Samuel Goldwyn Theater Academy on Thursday night.
Then filming with
7
Glitter
o'clock.
Bomb.
And Glitter Bomb is going to be there. I'm so excited that they're going to be there. I love this man so much. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of the stars are going to be there, from Dustin Lance Black on and on and on. I mean, it's huge. It's a lot of people in this documentary, as well as boots on the ground type people. Just Billy Clift at Facebook. Twitter is Billy Clift Film. Instagram is Billy Clift. All that stuff. So Here TV has a lot of products that I do. So watch it. Watch Amazon Prime. Except for Baby Jane. You got to see Baby Jane. If you want to see one thing that I did for the first one, watch Baby Jane. It's hilarious.
You guys, another episode has gone way past over the time. Kurt, don't sweat it. He's like, oh, this is just everything.
He is wearing a Sonic the Hedgehog shirt, by the way, which is awesome.
No, he's the guy. If you want anything about Harry Potter or Dungeons and Dragons or video games, he's the one. Thank you, Mama Rose. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to my co-host, Stephen Dehler.
Yay!
We always see each other. Yes. You guys, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao. This has been On the Rocks with Alexander, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Universal Broadcasting Network. Find me on Facebook on the Rocks Radio Show. Tweet me or Instagram me at On the Rocks On Air. See you next Tuesday!